Welcome to the Talking Tradesman podcast. This is a space where people talk honestly about their lives, the highs, the lows, the pressure, and their mental health. No scripts, no filters, no pretending. Hosted by me, Russell Payne. Let's talk. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of The Talking Tradesman. In the studio today, I have not one, but two guests. I have Jack and Lucy from Thomas & Co. Joinery. I've got that right, haven't I?
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, guys, massive appreciation for you guys giving up your time to come and sit down with me. You are the first couple in the studio for a while. We want to get into all of that, your working dynamics, how you two obviously get on working together. But initially, if you can just introduce yourselves one at a time, whoever wants to go first.
Ladies first.
Oh, thanks.
Age before beauty.
Yeah. Shit before the trouble. So my name's Lucy and I've been a joiner since I left school. So I left school in 2011, so quite a while ago now.
Making me do quick maths now, Lucy, aren't you? 2000, yeah,
17 years.
Yeah.
15 to 7, between 15 and 17.
Yeah.
With my apprenticeship was like 3 years long, so I've done it for quite a while now.
Did you go straight into joinery?
Straight into it from when I left school. So luckily enough, I was fortunate enough to get offered an apprenticeship. I started out as a bricklayer, and I was doing the same thing, doing the same thing day in, day out, and I got bored of laying brick and block quite quickly. And I think with me being only in the first year of my apprenticeship, it was predominantly more health and safety based rather than hands-on tools and the more of the practical side of it. And the site that I was working on, there was a joiner that sort of took me underneath his wing and was like, come and do a bit more with me, get you cutting a bit of handrail, but doing a bit of this and that. And luckily enough, I was able to go back to Total People, the investor, and they were able to go, yeah, because you're only within the first year of your apprenticeship, we can swap you over into joinery rather than bricklaying. And then after that, stuck with it ever since, and it's been the best thing that I've ever done.
What made you pick that route then, Lucy? Have you got is it in the family or?
No family members. Dad couldn't even change a light bulb.
Couldn't strike a match.
Luckily enough, it's always fell to me.
You're just shopping him on a national podcast now.
Yeah.
But there you go.
But no, it's funny really because academically in school I wasn't very strong, and I struggled with the maths, the English, and I think at a young age they do put quite a lot of pressure on you to know what line of industry you're going to go down in the future, and it puts a lot of pressure on young people to know you're in school, you need to know this, you need these GCSEs.
I've got a massive bugbear with that.
Yeah. And the academic system, in my opinion, is so outdated now. Things need to move forward.
We're going to have a great conversation, Lucy, to be fair.
Yeah, things need to move forward a lot more quickly now. However, I was lucky enough to have a really good head of year at the time. The construction was a new thing that they'd brought in as a BTEC. As bricklaying, and luckily enough they had a really good construction department. It was a complete new build, and I was one of the first pupils to go into that in my year, and it started off as a bricklaying course, and at the end of me leaving school, the company called Cruden Construction, they were quite a large new build developer, they were coming in and offered apprenticeships, and there was myself and another two guys that got offered apprenticeships with Cruden, and I saw my career out there for my apprenticeship, and then went on to work in social housing after that. So yeah, for my career so far, and obviously having our own business now, it's complete chalk and cheese, complete different sort of industry again, but we love what we do. And honestly, if I didn't get into it when I did, I honestly don't know where my future would be now, because it's not a career that I would have necessarily assumed that I would have gone into. I don't think a lot of females or young girls ever even consider it as a career. However, I think that people need to push it.
Yeah.
And I've got that voice, and hopefully if I can do that and inspire some young girls that are a little bit stuck or a little bit unsure, that maybe stepping out into the unknown is...
Lucy, this is a great opportunity to do it, really.
Hopefully.
Don't worry, Jack, we are going to get onto you. We're not going to overshadow you. But in terms of like your experience, I guess, because, you know, let's call it what it is. I think a lot of girls would look at it and think it's a male-dominated trade.
Absolutely.
Am I going to fit in? Am I going to be discriminated against? Like, what was your experience of doing the apprenticeship and education route?
I was I was very lucky, really. My apprenticeship and the guys that I worked with were very supportive and were rooting for me. There was only myself there that was a female, so I was sort of seen as like the little sister of the group. So
that's cool.
Luckily enough, I had quite a good experience with that. However, I know when I was going on to different sites where I wasn't with the same group of guys that I was working with anymore, it was quite daunting, little 18-year-old me tootling out onto a big building site where there's the unknown and not knowing. And I think I had to put my big girl pants on at them points and just sort of suck it up and get on with it. And I think that it builds your character as a person to go, I'm going to do this, I'm going to prove you guys wrong, and that I am worthy of a place here. And I think that's a great skill to have for somebody, especially so young as well back then.
Yeah.
And I think that's stood me in good grounds growing through my career and has helped me build my character going forward.
100%.
Yeah.
It's interesting here you say that, because you say all that with such confidence.
Yeah.
I know when you two sat down,
Yeah.
you were like, oh, Lucy's the more sort of like shy one. But I don't think walking the path that you walked, you've got to have some backbone to do.
Absolutely. I think it's a very, like you say, it's a male-dominated industry, and I think for a lot of young girls coming in, and I think now girls are looking at like the hair and beauty and all these kind of things, and obviously that's a fantastic industry for young girls to go into, but construction and joinery or bricklaying or plumbing is never given to people as an option.
Yeah.
And I think that the schools need to. We were listening to a radio talk show a couple of weeks ago, and it was saying that there was a shortage of like, what was it?
Over 20,000 young people
not coming through into construction anymore, with how many are retiring.
Yeah.
And that influx has got to come from somewhere at some point.
I think that's 20,000, because I heard the same thing.
Yeah.
That's 20,000 per year as well.
Yeah.
That's not like overall.
Trades are almost
Yes.
like a dying thing now. And
The stats might be a bit different, but I think the last ones I heard were it was close to 10 out to 1 in.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which
Worked
is crazy
out.
when you look at the, let me get the word right, statistics.
Yeah.
When you look at the statistics of it, it is massive, really.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I think that it's definitely something that the way that schools are set up now, it needs to be a lot more pushed for young people to explore. I know obviously like IT and stuff like now.
Yeah.
I know we've got
Great
friends
career.
that have got kids in school that are learning like coding and
Yeah.
like, again.
Completely agree, mate. Like, listen, I'll be honest, there's a really scary thing, which is AI.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, I'm sorry to anyone with a tech job,
Yeah.
but anyone in tech, I think, has got to be really worried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be so quick to replace.
And we
Yeah,
have said
absolutely.
this. We've
The
said
trades.
that sounds
You can't
bad,
replace
but
that.
if the internet is to ever go down, which at some point it may, you cannot take away someone's skill set as a trade. You know, they can still go out without a phone and earn money. You know, essentially, they can go leaflet dropping or
Let's be honest, I
house
mean,
knocking.
I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here when I say that the education system, in my mind, and I mean, listen, if either of you two disagree, please say, but I think the education system build the construction industry as somewhere for boys to go if they fail.
Yes,
Absolutely.
That's
i.e.
it.
myself. And
But that's where it's like,
Yeah.
100%.
the reason I say that is I know firsthand my son, when he was at school, was told that if he didn't concentrate, he'd end up on a building site
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's
sorry,
the
what?
taboo.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's
Why
the
is that
exact.
such a bad thing?
That's the exact thing that I got, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, from sort of school, I wasn't academic at all. I was never naughty or disrespectful. I was just a nuisance. You know, I was always doing something that I shouldn't be, or playing with pens in the back of a classroom. Maybe I've got ADHD. I've never been diagnosed for it, but I do
It's
think.
an undiagnosed ADHD.
But I think
I've diagnosed
Lucy's
it.
diagnosed
Yeah, you've diagnosed me after the last 8 years of
Yeah.
living with me. But I think, like, for me, again, you said about sort of kids that were, you know, at school and possibly not academic, or boys that were naughty. It was, you'll end up on a building site, you'll never do well. I'm sorry, but I feel like as a joiner or a trade, whatever it is that you do, it's one of the best things that you can possibly get under your belt, because you'll never be out of work. If you're good at what you do, you're honest, you're reliable, you're professional, you turn up with a smile on your face, that will sell the job itself. And we believe that better than anyone. I was not academic at school. I think I finished in year 10, so I was probably 14, 15. They stuck me in a car garage a couple of days a week on day release. I didn't enjoy it. I just went because I had to. I then found my love for sort of joinery at college. When I went to college, I got an apprenticeship like Lucy.
So you've both been in it since day one.
So I've done it a long time, but
all we know,
it's
isn't
all we
it?
know.
This is-
Yeah, I've been more so to a lot more companies, and Lucy, you've only ever worked for one, haven't you?
Yeah.
I was I was going and trying different things, trying different companies, seeing how they work. Could never really. I didn't like being told what to do. That was my problem, I think.
I can feel you on that one, mate.
But, you know, and I never had an issue with authority. It was just the way that these people on sites condone their attitude towards people. I'm the site manager, you do as you're told, or, you know, I'm your boss, you'll do this. But how many people have we had as managers over the years when we were working for these companies that were, I hate to say it, and I'm sorry if anyone's watching and they are.
Don't apologise, mate, just go in.
We had a guy and he was an estate agent and he used to tell us how to do our job. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but if you cannot do the job yourself, you shouldn't be telling someone else how to do it. And that's just the way that we work, isn't it? You know, and the phrase we live by.
And people can talk the talk, but they can't
walk
walk
the
the
walk.
walk.
Yeah.
And they've got no trade knowledge or no trade background.
Yeah.
And then they come into a position of authority.
Or power.
And try and tell people that have got experience how things should be done.
Yeah.
The level of respect's never going to be there from day one, is it? I think that if you want to go into a position like that, then that's absolutely fantastic. But your staff below you are going to have 10 times more respect if you've been on the tools and know how it works and have seen how things work on sites and can work with one trade to another.
Mm-hmm.
If you're coming in from a completely different industry, that's gone straight away, isn't it?
Again, though, Lucy, I think it plays into the hierarchy of it all, where academia or the academic route is billed as intelligence.
Yes.
Of course it is.
And like I was invited on to BBC One's Sunday Morning Live a few weeks ago for that reason, because it was to contest or to promote the vocational routes.
I did see it.
And that was the vibe that I picked up from everyone there was, if in fact the one lady there, her argument was, if you didn't go to uni, you weren't able to think critically. And I was like, what? You're telling a business owner they can't think critically.
Someone that's actually successful as well.
It's not the only way to get. And this is the thing. Like, I studied psychology. So I know, like, people have one of three learning modalities normally. And a learning modality is they either learn, you know, verbally, physically, in action, or academically they can read a book. Problem with schools is they only do one. When you know there's three and you only cater to one, that leaves 2/3 of kids going, I ain't connecting with this.
And that was, I think I was one of them.
I think we both probably
were.
See, this is it though, mate. But the real problem I have with it, like, I've spoken to you pre-record, I've spoken to you on the phone, I've seen what you do on socials. You are not an unintelligent man. You're intelligent. But because of the way that it's framed in society,
of course,
it's I didn't do well at school, so I'm not that clever. No, you fucking are. You just didn't click with their... You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
You don't work with what society tells you should fit into. It's
exactly.
I think at school I was quite fortunate, though. Like, although I was sort of a nuisance and a pain in the arse at some times, which, you know, I was.
But probably because you were bored.
Exactly. I just didn't want to be there. No. I didn't want to. Like yourself, Luce, you'll agree, I wasn't academic. My maths is fucking shocking. Like, I've got a calculator for that. We can calculate anything we need to at work on a calculator.
Let me take a moment there to say a massive thank you to this episode's sponsors, Monarch. Now, Monarch have just released a comprehensive range of 24 new filling blades, scrapers and tools. You can find out where you can get your hands on these at www.monarch.co.uk, where you'll find a list of stockists. There is a tool for absolutely everything. These tools in particular are going to be part of a giveaway, but once again, a massive thank you to Monarch for supporting the Talking Tradesman podcast and helping me raise mental health awareness in construction and beyond. Let's get back to the episode.
Other than reading a tape measure, we don't really... It's all we need, you know. But at school, I was quite fortunate. I had a lady that sort of took me under her wing. Her name was Diane Bates. She was sort of like a support worker, but she was employed by the school. So anytime I was having a bad day or I was getting into what I shouldn't be, fighting with people, or going out of school to go for a cigarette or go to the chip shop. She would tell me to come and see her if I felt that need to go and do that, should I say. And I was quite fortunate to spend a lot of time with her, and she said to me, I don't believe for any second you're a bad person. You just want to do things differently to other people. You want to learn differently. And I feel like going to college for me was one of the best things that I ever did when I actually got enrolled onto a joinery course, because I found my purpose, and it's not something that I would have ever thought I'd have done, but I've always been more so hands-on with things than academic. If you asked me to read a book, I'll be honest, I could not do it. I'd read 2 or 3 words, mate, and I'd shut down my brain. I'd have a brain fart. But
mate, the thing is, and this is why like your voice is so important, is because there's so many kids or young lads, young girls that are in the same boat,
of course,
that are currently being told that they're not good enough. They're quantified by an exam result. But then there's people like yourselves that have took a different route in life and are very successful.
I got no GCSEs either. I got like an F, an E and a D. And for anyone watching that believes that because you did poor at school that you cannot get a good job, it's bollocks in my opinion. It is
absolute bollocks.
And I feel like if you put your mind to something, if you want it that bad, you can achieve that, you know. For us, we've said, haven't we, and we'll say it time and time again to anyone we speak to that's thinking of setting up their own business, going into a trade, whether it isn't even that, or they want to do something and they're unsure of whether they're capable of achieving that, they are. Because I come from, you know, from where I come from at school, I had nothing. I think both of us, you got your GCSEs and you did really well at school. We both ended up respectfully in the same place. It doesn't mean anything, you know. I lost my dad very young, so you know, at 7 years old I was without my dad. My mum sort of worked 3 jobs to bring me up. I feel like now, obviously at school I used to push back and be like, not doing that, and my mum was very soft. Like, she was soft because I was her baby. And I feel like even now I am a mummy's boy. I'll admit that. I love my mum more than anything other than Lucy. But
I was just gonna say,
I have to be careful because I'm sat next to her. But no, my mum's always been, and Lucy's mum, very supportive of what we do. Whether they believe we're making the right decision or the wrong, they've always supported us. And I feel like for us to come from where we have, both of us, we've done all right, you know. Like, again, I was told very proud, very proud of Lucy as well as myself, you know, more so Lucy for coming out of her comfort zone, and she was very anxious about, you know, coming to work and be a self-employed female joiner, especially in a male-dominated world, like you've said previously. But I feel like she should be really proud of herself, because it's a big,
you both should.
it's a big thing, you know. And we're not sort of, like we said previously beforehand, we're not money driven, you know. We just want to be we're honest people that do a good job, you know. We just want to be treated for what we are, don't we, you know. And I don't feel
not too much to ask.
It's not a lot to ask, you know. And
it's not, but you guys, without even knowing it, I mean, you know, you're pushing into social media, like, you can be a beacon for the other people, the new generation coming through. It's people like you that people need to hear about, and it's why this platform's so important, is because I'll give people that voice and opportunity to talk about that.
And we appreciate you having us.
There's not many that will, which is sickening to me, because it's like, actually, I look around at my own social circle and friend circle, and the people, like, some of my best mates were those kids, the ones that didn't do well in school, the ones that got kicked out, whatever. They're also some of the most successful people I know now. Because whatever that thing is, that focus, the thing that they used to focus on, you know, you work out how to get out of school without being caught. Problem solving.
I was one of those. So, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like, where can I sneak off?
But when you can apply that into a productive thing, like, it can give you a superpower.
Of course it can.
And some of my mates,
I think we've both said that, haven't we? I think us having our little quirks and traits, we've found that we can sort of tunnel that vision of your ADHD, and we can put that into this one business, and this business is our life, and it requires our full attention 24/7. There's no off day, there's no downtime. We're doing a full day's work, and then coming home, one of us is quoting, one of us is invoicing, one of us is speaking to the customer on the phone. Or there's always something to be done. But for us, with our minds and the way that they work, for us, it's a great outlet for that, because we can give this 110% all the time. for a lot of people, that seems crazy
Yeah.
because that's very full on. But
Yeah.
for us, we need to itch that scratch,
Yeah.
and this is what that scratch is for us, and that's our business. And I think with us being both as determined
as we are
to want to make something of this, or to try and give other people a voice or an opportunity, for us, that's everything, isn't it?
Of course.
You seem really equal between the two of you in your passion for what you do.
I feel like we're
100%.
so, as well as a couple, we got asked an awful lot. How the hell do you work together? How do you live together?
We're going to get into all that, mate, because it's one of the questions. that-
Some of the questions we get asked, again, I like to hear that. I want people to ask us how we work as a couple.
Let's take it back a little bit further to begin with, right? So I've got sort of like your origins, as it were. How did you guys meet?
This is a bit of a.
I'll let you explain this.
So we had mutual friends, and Lucy used to go out with a girl I knew, I was in school with. They'd go out drinking together. They had mutual friends with each other, so they knew each other. Just so happened to like the look of Lucy in one of her pictures, and I was like, who's that? It was on Instagram. So I followed you on the Instagram, didn't I? Didn't get a follow back, by the way. Literally didn't get a follow back. So I messaged Lucy a couple of weeks later to ask how she knew Emily, the girl that I knew that I was in school with, and we got chatting. And I asked Lucy in the conversation, what is it you do for work? Just general chit chat. I'm a female joiner. And I was like, no way. Like, a girl as pretty as you does not work on a building site doing the job you do. And she was like, do you want to see? She was like, do you fucking want to see me MVQ and my papers then? And she actually sent me over her qualifications.
Did that rattle you, him saying that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's a bugbearer, and I hate to say it, I was not sexist, but I was one of those people that was like, what, she's doing it, in a male's world.
Jack, listen, let's be honest, mate. Is it wrong? Yes, but we're all human. We all do
course,
it. So
yeah.
we all judge. And
Absolutely.
like you walk down that high street now, you'll make 50 snapshot judgments on the people you walk past.
Yeah.
Like if I were to walk past you, Lucy, hand on heart, I probably would not think that you were a joiner.
Yeah.
Because I've got biases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've got mad respect for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's gonna be a thing. So for you to be a bit surprised.
Yeah.
I think you
I was
must have
very- yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I've got to be open to receive that. And even now, like, we go to, not as much anymore, the company that I used to work for previously, obviously I was there for like 11 years. Fantastic career, worked with some great guys, met some fantastic people, but worked for some absolute arseholes. And again, it was that preperception of, I would turn up at the door, doing you 6 internal doors today, I've got the materials, what's you that's doing it, is it? And I'd be like, well, I can send somebody that doesn't know what they're doing and one of the rough old boys if you want, but trust me, you're going to wish that you had me do the job if you want to do it
they'll hinge your
right.
doors with a hammer and a fucking...
So I'd just come away from the job and let somebody else
hammer
go
and a
do it,
screwdriver.
And then they'd wish that they'd had me.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
For your
But
perspective,
it's character building, and it gives you a thick skin. And I think like people, not that I'm on the defence all the time because I'm not about it, but I'm quite. What would you say? Quite stern or quite direct sometimes with the way that I speak, and I think that can be a little bit miscommunicated. And I think that's sometimes because I've had to fight for my position to be where I am, because 9 times out of 10, like, companies want to use a female as like the poster girl of
clickbait.
We've met the targets this month because we've employed somebody that's from this background. So we've got a female, and it's the tick box exercise to cover those genres of what they need. I don't want to be known for that. Like, I just want to turn up.
I want to be known as a good joiner.
I just want to be known as a good joiner, not the female joiner, just a good joiner. And I don't feel like that's too much to ask for, but society puts you into these little categorised boxes, and it's breaking out of that, and it's that mould breaking and that character building that I think you've got to be quite tough as a person to push through that, because a lot of hurdles are thrown in your direction, and you have to constantly. And even now, like, I think, like, obviously yourself and like the people that are around us and that are in our inner circle respect me, so I'm in a good position now.
Because they know if they talk to her like shit or they make us, Lucy will shut that down straight away. And I respect that, because if she believes in something and she knows she's right, she will stand her ground.
Do you feel, Lucy, sometimes would you feel that maybe you've got to actually work harder or do better
100%.
to be recognised
100%.
the same?
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that I always felt like, not now, obviously, because you value me. And
value.
like,
And I'm not just saying it because obviously it's one-sided and she's my partner. She's also my business partner, but she's hand on heart the best joiner I've ever worked with. And I'm not just saying that. She would run rings around some of the blokes that you've worked with, because we've both worked for the same company as well. I've worked at the company Lucy used to work at, and some of the guys that are there, great, fantastic guys, really good trades people. Up some of them that they've employed, she would just run rings round. These are joiners that have been joiners for 30, 40 years, you know. And honestly, she'd put them to shame. She knows what she's talking about. She's confident when it comes to knowing what she's talking about. She's confident in her work, and I think that for me sells her as a good joiner, you know. And you know, you're a good person, you know. And again, I couldn't reiterate enough the amount of times we've knocked doors and gone to do a job, and obviously we've not made the customer aware it's Jack and Lucy going. They just presume it's me. I went away on holiday, didn't I? And Lucy had gone out to do a little job, and it was, you're doing it?
I'd gone to do a measure appointment, hadn't I, for a job that was booked in a couple of weeks' time, and the gentleman was an elderly gentleman, and he was a lovely guy.
Turned out to be.
Turned up, and I introduced myself, shook his hand, and I got the sort of the look up and down, no shake of the hand, and I thought, okay, we'll leave that there. And then come in, doors are upstairs. That was it. And I thought, okay, it's fine. Going, I'm literally going to be in and out.
Yeah.
Went in, come back out. And before I left the property, and he said, oh, just to let you know, when the joiner comes to do the fitting, and I was like, so myself then, when I come back to do the fitting, and he was like, oh, right, okay. And I was like, yes, it's myself and my partner's company, so it'll be both of us that are here. It's just that he's away at the moment, but it's that constant, not the disapproval and then like the reapproval, but at the end of the job,
he was lovely. And again, if you're watching this, you know, he may be. We're not saying anything bad about him, but I feel like people are too quick to judge just because of what you look like or your sex or your, you know, we don't care what people look like. We're all human.
I guess, I mean, from your side, Lucy, it's got, like, I can see the pros and the cons. Like, one, it must be frustrating. But two, at the same time, it's possibly that's driven you to be as good as you are. Because you've had that extra bit to prove. You have to prove yourself.
You've always said that, though, from the day I met you. You know, you've always said that you felt like you've had to prove yourself because of the job or line of work that she is in. And that now, looking back,
overlooked all the time.
And looking back now, I'm like, you don't have to prove yourself to anybody. And she doesn't. But I feel like Lucy does it more so for herself and other females that are looking, like you said previously, to get into this line of work that are maybe thinking about it, but 100%. I might not fit in. But give it a go. Just give it a go. It might be the best. You've got to break the mold. It might be the best thing that you ever do. You know, because for us, I'll hand on heart say I would never ever go and work for another company ever again unless I had to, you know, and I genuinely had to, because I'd rather earn less money doing the job that we do and be happy. I am happy going to work every day. I go out the door. I'm a happy person anyway. I always have a smile on my face.
At least one of us does.
I get up most mornings like ADHD brain. I've got a business idea or I've got things running through my mind. I'm up and out with the dog. And Lucy, you think I'm crazy, don't you? I get in the van, I've got my tunes on at 6 o'clock in the morning. She's like, just fucking shut up for a minute. And I'm just like,
give me a moment, please.
But this is where we work so well together.
Somewhere in between, there's a very fine balance where this works. And I think we're very lucky to have found each other to have that, because I'd still be at the same job, moaning like hell, hating what I was doing every day, but I'd have gone and done it because it was a safety net.
I'd be getting shouted at by this one for, you've been at that job for 6 months, you didn't like it, and you've gone to this one and been there 12 months. And I feel like, we are each other's safety net, aren't we? You know, as I said before, Russ, if I have a bad day, Lucy has a bad day. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. Like, we're there for each other, you know.
And we share each other's highs and lows,
passions. We share each other's passions. If Lucy believes in something, I might not agree with it, you know, but I will still always stand by her side, and I'll be a bigger supporter, you know.
Absolutely.
I love that, mate.
Always.
I've said that about my wife so many times.
Always.
I think my relationship dynamics probably like you guys in reverse.
Yeah.
So like I'm a bit more like you, Liz. I'm the one that stands back. It's like, well, I don't know about that. My wife is the one that's like, do this, do the other. But I've said that before, where I've said like I don't have to agree with everything you do to support it.
Of course.
100%.
Like I support you.
Yes.
I might not think that's going to work.
Yeah.
I might, but I'm going to support you.
Yeah.
So I love that comment, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we've always said that it might not be something that we've always thought, about. And I'll be honest, there's some of the stuff that I've chose to do, and Lucy's like, "You're an idiot," but I'm not going to stop you. I will stand by you, and I'll, if you want to do that, then great. Whether that's business, whether that's personal life, But yeah, I feel like over the years, not as business owners as well as a couple, we've grown an awful lot together. Yeah. Not.
Mate, you guys are like trial by fire. Yeah. To be fair,
we've been through the rough, the smooth, the good, the bad.
Yeah.
We've been at breaking point. As I said before, business isn't easy. We've had
sat down going, do we just go back and
work a job 9 to 5? Yeah.
Let's talk about the dynamics of your business then. So around about 5.5 years ago, Thomas and Co was born.
Yeah.
Yes.
What made you decide to do that?
I think
probably more you, Jack.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, no, it definitely was me. I had an idea. I feel like we were both working a normal job. It was a normal job. We'd come home, do an 8 till 4:30, 8 till 5.
Different companies at this stage.
Different companies, yeah. I was at the same company as Lucy for about
12 months.
12 months, yeah. I moved on. I'd worked for new build developers. I've been to quite a few. And I just didn't like the way things were run. And like I said previously, people telling me how to do my job that couldn't do the job themselves. It's like going into a dentist, isn't it, and getting your teeth done, or car garage, and same, what I mean, same line of work, telling you're going in and telling a mechanic how to do his job, or, a dentist how to do his job. We couldn't do it because no one knows what they're looking at. So it's not fair, I don't think, for someone to tell a trade how to do their job if they actually don't know what they're looking at. So I got sort of fed up, didn't I, of going to do this job, people telling me, I didn't struggle with authority. It was more so the people that were asking me to do certain things that they couldn't do. And I struggled with sort of, sometimes the jobs that I was asked to do were sort of, say, 2 days work, I'll get that done in half a day. Just don't worry about that. And I'm like, I have a conscience. I can't just leave that job like that and go on to the next one. We'll tell them you'll go back in 2 weeks. And it got to a point where it was affecting my mental health because I was coming home and I was having customers texting my personal phone, wasn't I? Asking if they could pay me out of work to go back and do the job that I was actually being paid to do. And I was like, do you know what? I can't, operate like this. So I'd had a chat with a couple of companies. They didn't really want to change things because a lot of them are just money driven and it's numbers, pushing figures. And I actually met a guy on site. His name was Lee, and he turned out to be a bit of a knobhead, to be fair. And again, if you're watching it, no sort of hard feelings.
No offence, you're not.
Yeah, no offence, you're knobhead. But, at the time, fantastic guy. He gave me that drive that I needed, as well as Lucy. He said, "What are you doing here, on this building site? What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm, snagging. I'm doing a bit of joinery, a bit of this." And he was like, "You're wasted." He said, "You're a good lad. You're confident. You always got a smile on your face. You speak to customers well. You respect the customers. I've seen you dealing with them. Why don't you come and work for me?" And I was like, "Oh," and I talked to you about it for months.
Another job.
Yeah,
You've been in 6 months.
Bearing in mind it was a self-employed basis, so he was like, "I'll pay you through CIS. I'll do it legitimately. Everything's hunky dory. It'll just be that I can't offer you a contract." And I was like, "Well, realistically, no one's job is ever safe." And also, if there's kids watching this or anyone again that's thinking that because they're in a paid job that their job is safe forever, it isn't. It's not. It doesn't. Redundancies you can get.
To be honest with you, Jack, those days are gone.
Yeah.
Like there used to be. So around here, there was the Rover car plant. I always use that as an example. Yeah. But you'd have whole families and generations. I work at the Rover.
It's like Bentley and Crew
all the way
or Rolls
through.
Royce.
Yeah. And that would be like concreted on.
Yeah.
But I think time has shown that now any industry is subject. I mean, like that Bang overnight Rover was gone.
Yeah.
Pensions were all gone.
Yeah.
Thousands of people out of jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But that's happened how many times now?
Yeah.
Like how many big companies now do we see just going under?
Yeah.
So job security, because that was always used as a anti, like, don't go self-employed
because you don't
because
have
of your
that
job
protection.
security.
And this is where Lucy was
That's where
more so.
I was one of those people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
was led to believe that the only way was employed sick pay, holiday pay, and you need.
And I'll
them
be
to-
honest, it
and them
wasn't the
fluffy bits.
greatest time either, excuse me, to go and take a self-employed job, because at the time we were buying a house, weren't we? So it was, Lucy was like, you're an idiot, you know.
Actually, mate, 5 years ago now, we're 2026, so you're just post-COVID.
Yeah, that was it, yeah.
Yeah, that is a ropey time.
Yeah, literally, and it was, and it was difficult, I'll be honest, you know. But I'm a firm believer, like I said, if you put your mind to something and you want it that bad, you can make it happen. But this gentleman that I met, I worked for him for probably 12 months on my own. And then obviously Lucy had come to do a couple of weekends to help out with this gentleman. He'd send us to do jobs. We were travelling all over the country, weren't we?
Oh, we were here then.
And I said,
Wow.
just come and try it and just get a taste for it. Because at the time, you know, the money was okay. It wasn't all about money for me. It was, I was going to work and I was happy. You know, I was enjoying having a laugh with him. You know, he'd send me and trust me. And that's, for me, a big thing, is trusting people. He trusted me implicitly. He would send us to jobs, wouldn't he, on his behalf, deal with his customers. You know, we would always turn up on time, always do the job properly. And you would come to work, wouldn't you? And Lucy was like, do you know what? I quite like this. It's not like working for the company that I work for. And we had a chat one night and sat down, and I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to set up a little Facebook page, little side hustle, still work a 9 to 5 for this gentleman every week, see if it takes off. And I'm not joking, it's the best thing we've ever done. You know, I had you doing a bit of PR on Facebook. She was like, I'm not doing it. I'm no good with pictures and all that. And she ended up, you know, again, you do it now, don't you? We set up the business just over 5 years ago.
5 years ago,
and everyone that's had us work for them in the local areas, we're obviously very grateful of that, of trusting us and giving us that opportunity, because without them and that push off certain people in the background as well, saying, look, go and have a go, just do it, put yourselves out there. We all make mistakes. We did it, didn't we? And we wouldn't look back. I really wouldn't want to go and work for somebody else again. We are happy, aren't we? We go to work every day.
Every day's a holiday.
Yeah, every day's a holiday to us, you know.
That's a beautiful way to look at it.
Yeah, and I feel like it's even better for me that I get to work with my partner, you know. Lucy isn't only my comfort blanket, she's my best friend, you know. And people are like, how'd you go home and what you talk about? And I'm like, well, anything,
just,
you know. It's just not.
Do you manage to switch it off? Like, I mean, if you both love your business that much, it probably doesn't matter.
Lucy can already answer for me.
I don't think either of us can switch off.
I don't think we ever switch off. There's always something going on in our minds, and whether that's business related or personal life. Like, we go home, obviously we have work to deal with, but work is just part of our day to day. It's not.
I think what I was meaning there was just work. I don't mean like switch off totally.
Yeah.
I mean, like, as in, when have you got anything in place, like, between you? So, little bit of a comparison, but say, like, my son works for me in my business. He's my apprentice. I mean, he's been with me nearly 2 years now, so he's pretty much not really an apprentice anymore.
But you're always going to call him your apprentice.
But absolutely. 10 years in, he's my apprentice. But we've got, like, a thing when he came to work with me, I was like, mate, I can't come home from work at the end of the day and be talking about work at the dinner table.
Yeah, I respect that.
So we leave work in the morning, you're my apprentice. When we get back home, I'm your dad.
Yeah, that's it. We draw a line.
We'll draw a line.
If we have a bad day, we don't.
But you guys, different dynamic, different power dynamic. Like, have you got anything?
I think, like, you do quite a bit of fishing, don't you? So that's your switch off thing. But in terms of, like, the business and stuff, I think that, like, a lot of people, like, close friends and family always say, like, just be careful that you're not going to burn yourselves out, because we are
non-stop.
It's non-stop, and it's 100% of the time, and it's 100% of our energy, and we are very conscious of that, and how we possibly need to look at something for ourselves on how we do have that downtime and that escape away from it. But for us, it's just that when we do then go back to it, the workload's just going to be double because nobody's addressed it. That's where it becomes
even
hard. Like coming here today, the diary's in the van. Diary.
I had to turn, you know yourself, my phone was going in there. I have to turn it off, you know, and I feel like, you know, Lucy,
you'll turn your phone back on and there'll be 6 missed calls. And
Yeah, why have you not got back to me?
how many quotes to do.
Yeah.
So
Have you like delegated? Because running a business is no small thing,
No.
yeah. And this is one of the things with people in the trades. I believe one of the biggest problems people have is they go from being a fantastic tradesperson to then being a business owner.
Yeah.
It's a massive jump.
It is,
Like,
yeah.
not in terms of what you do on a daily
I couldn't
basis,
do it, mate.
but all the back office.
I couldn't just go and
Do you guys, have you delegated who does what? Or
we have, so obviously with the, like, in terms of like the quoting and then like invoicing and stuff, we have sort of delegated. Again, we just play to each other's strengths
and weaknesses.
So we found that like you were better with like the invoicing side of it and dealing with the accountants and stuff, because you wouldn't want me to deal with that, because we definitely wouldn't be making any money.
HMRC, if you're watching this, you're a rip-off. Yeah,
I
don't
do
even
all
get
the
us started
quoting,
on that.
don't
Yeah,
I? And I can deal with that, and obviously looking at our different suppliers and where we've got best pricing for, and can be quite savvy in that aspect. So again,
we just want our customers to get the best possible price again, but I think
we want to be able to feed that down the chain, and this is where I think people become from being the joiner or the trade that they are to the business owner, and then people just get greedy and just want to put all this money and stack all this money and then are not bothered about this outcome here. But
quality.
without these people, we wouldn't be where we are. And for us, that's where we're very, very customer focused, aren't we?
Of course.
And we're just trying to do things a little bit differently.
I can hear
We're
it.
Not the,
I can hear it.
I think the problem is, like, this is why we don't switch off, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're so passionate about what we do and the people we meet. We meet some amazing people. You know yourself, Russ, obviously being in the trade. You also meet some arseholes, but it's how you sort of deal with that as a person. I feel like if you treat someone how you expect to be treated as a person yourself, it's not too much to ask. If you're respectful, you're courteous, you're polite, you do a really good job, I believe you'll never be out of work, and we find that a lot of our customers, I'd say probably 99%, mate, return. They find us work. We have, there's a family and crew where we live, and I swear they just get us to go around for a brew, but again, we like to have that relationship. Okay, it's not always great for the business, because obviously we're taking time out to go and do a really small job that possibly we shouldn't really be doing because it's not cost effective to do that. But we make that time for people, and people don't see that the amount of effort that goes into some of these things, do they? In the background, But I think as a couple, without each other, we couldn't do it. Especially the business from where it has started and where it is now. We went from sort of both being, I don't know, we would go to work and do 2-3 internal doors in a day and go home, wouldn't we? Whereas now we could the good old days, or we'd do a bit of skirting, or a little stair job, and we'd be home for 2:00 having a business lunch. But that doesn't happen often anymore, does it? We're that busy. We
work until like
7 o'clock at night.
We'll just squeeze that customer in there.
And people will probably say it isn't healthy. It maybe isn't, but for me, I need that. For my mind and my mindset. Without that in the background, I'm always doing something, or probably doing something I shouldn't be, messing around with something. And, for me, it works, for me to go home, it gives me purpose. I've got Lucy in my back pocket. You need to sort this, you need to sort that, as any normal partner or wife would do.
It's fascinating listening to you two. Because I think a lot of people, maybe even myself included, and my wife wouldn't even mind me saying this, but like if somebody said to me, would you want to work with your wife all day, most people would be like, fuck that.
But this is the thing,
just
right?
because it's a lot, and it's such a different, like, there's a dynamic in a relationship, and then there's a dynamic as a business partner and a work colleague. You're like all of it. So for you to click correctly on all of them, that's a lot.
We've hit the jackpot, really, haven't we? Yeah, we are. We've hit the jackpot. Like, I'll reiterate it again. I could not do it without Luce, and whether you feel the same way,
probably could.
But again, it's the workload. Not even that, just dealing with customers, going to work, doing the job, having each other, that support off each other.
I think this is like we always say, we would love to grow the business and we would love to
members
be
of
able
staff
to take people on, but finding
that would be
people
tough to
let go.
We do find it hard.
I think it would also be tough for somebody from the outside to come in. Because you two would have such a dynamic between you as well.
I feel like because we are, like you said, such a close network, I can look at Lucy or she can look at me a certain way, and we both know there's a problem. Like, you might not know that, but we know. Like, you look at me a certain way, and I can go, fucking, I'm in trouble, or the customer's getting it. You know, they're gonna get told off. But
there's certain
signs.
Viewed jobs,
and the customers
change this now, as if people want.
Yeah.
But when we've been out on jobs and we've not liked the vibe off the customer, or for one reason or another, the job's just not for us anymore. I normally do like this, and this just means get the F out. Well, I'm not interested, and I'm not wasting
just given that away.
We've got to change that.
We want a new one.
Definitely.
But no, it's them little things of where we're just so in sync with each other all the time, aren't we?
I think that the thing for us is we both respect each other, you know, and I feel like, as well as at work, yes, it can be difficult. It has its moments. It does. Like, I always said I don't deal well with authority. I do, but I struggle because of the way I work and what I'm doing. Lucy will tell me to do something a certain way, and I'm like, why have I got to do it like that? And she's like, just try. And I'll do it. I'm like, why didn't I do that earlier? You know, yes, all right, she's my partner.
I think that comes down to how someone's communicating with you, though, and I think this is where people just try to come in and be this big, doing it, da-da-da-da-da.
And that's where I struggle.
I know how he's going to receive something a lot better. And again, that's us being in that relationship and knowing each other's boundaries, or having that level of respect for one another, that he's going to respond to that in a certain way if I tell him in a certain way. And it's not...
I think you're advocating really well for working together as a couple, to be fair.
And it does work.
It's not always
easy.
And I think people think that we're with each other 24/7. Yes, okay, we're coming to work together, and we're going home together. But sometimes, like, we've done jobs where we've had like 30 outdoors to do. I'll be upstairs, Jack will be downstairs, so we don't actually see each other all day.
Same as me and my son.
Of course.
Same thing people say to me, like, don't you get under each other's skin? I'm like, off, Tom, I don't see him.
Exactly.
We're in different rooms.
And I think, again, people that are watching this need to know that, you know, that we're not just turning up and we're working together all day, every day. Yes, we are predominantly at work together. We have 2 work vans. We do split up, don't we? I'll go in one van, Lucy will go in another. So again, like, if the workload is too much, or we've taken on sort of too much work that we possibly shouldn't have, we're not one for letting people down, are we?
No, if we agree a date and a time, we're there. Date and time,
so we've had it where we've double booked, and I've been like, shit, you know, we've double booked the customer here. It doesn't happen often, but it has if my mind's been occupied, or Lucy's has. And I've been like, look, that's a smaller job. We possibly could do that in a day on our own. Lucy will go off, I'll go off. And it's not always ideal, because you have to split your tools down. Obviously, you know, because there's a lot of tools in the van and stuff.
You've got the router, and I'm like,
and I'm like, great.
Do you guys have your own tools, or do you share your tools?
We do have our own tools, but predominantly we share, to be fair. Yeah, we do. I share. You don't like sharing. What's Lucy's is Lucy's, and what's mine is Lucy's.
What's yours is ours, and what's mine is mine.
Exactly. But no, it becomes very difficult then, doesn't it? Splitting tools down. And
we have got almost near enough 2 or 3 of everything.
Yeah.
So there is more than enough tools to
but
go
just
around,
you know yourself,
but we open the back door of the van and we both go for the same planer. Or we both go for the same.
I'm like, no, I want the 40 volt. It's better. And she's like, well, I wanted it. So, but no, again, like it can be difficult then splitting up, going to do jobs, because I just know with everything. Obviously, we take power tools out the van of an evening and stuff, but it then becomes difficult, because if you forget to put something in, it's like, oh shit, and then I'm fitting skirting with a mitre block, or, you know, I'm cutting it by hand, whereas obviously we do it on a chop saw, or you know, it make your life a little bit easier. But no, I think, like, as a couple, we do enjoy it, don't we? And we enjoy working together. Again, we have bad days, we have amazing days, but it's
out of interest, Jack. Like, the question I want to ask you, like, when you've probably witnessed like discrimination or something like that towards Lucy, or you've clocked that customer with that certain look, how do you deal with it? Because I know, like, generally it's one thing for you to deal with it, Lucy. You're probably used to it. But as a partner, do you get offended and protective on Lucy's part?
Yeah, very much so. Like, I do.
You probably turn around to the customer and just go, good luck.
I literally watch Lucy crawl up her own arse. Like, she's literally like, oh, that's not going to go down well. Like, people make certain comments about her, or, you know, and again, it will always happen. it happens with me the way I look. You know, it doesn't matter who you are, your age, your sex, you know, your ethnicity. You will always get people make these comments, and that's why Lucy said before, you sort of have to be thick-skinned. Okay, I accept that to some reasoning, but I believe there's a fine line, you know. She's had comments made about a Bowman, you know, by customers, and I've been like, mate, that's as far as it goes. Like,
really?
Yeah, we've had all sorts. We've
Not
had,
knowing that you two are together, I'm assuming.
we've had a few that have not known, and we've had a few
Some
that
that
have
have
known,
known,
and I've
yeah.
been like, mate, that stops, like, because that is not happening. And I'm the nicest, most placid person, but when it comes to her, I can blow up like a bottle of pop. We've had people sort of...
I'd gone in and done a job, hadn't I? And then you were working there this is before we had the business together.
Yeah.
This is when we used to work for the same company. You'd gone in a couple of days later, and the gentleman was like, "Oh, I had some girl
banging
the
bird
other
in,
day."
she's fit as fuck." And I was like, "Lucy?" And he was like, yeah, shag her. And I'm like, that's my missus, you know what I mean? Watch what you're saying, sort of thing. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, you just need to, again, people don't know, do they, these things all the time. Like, you need to watch what you're saying, and you do have to be careful. Certain things shouldn't be said. If you want to think that, great. You know, she's pretty, she's very good looking, you know, and I accept she's going to get people watching and, you know, eyes luring, and that's fine. But if you have comments, keep them to yourself. You know, it's not something that needs to be mentioned, is it? But yeah, I can.
That's why I was cautious about
Of being
putting things
on
and
social
images
media,
and exposing us to an online world, because
Yeah.
it can be quite.
Yeah.
I've got a thick skin, but I don't
Yeah.
know if I've got a thick skin to that point. And even to coming down, like the vehicle that we had done, we had
Yeah, I've
new
had it.
graphics done on
Yeah.
it, and Jack wanted to put all of us on it and the dog, obviously. And I was like, I don't even know if I want to put myself out there like
Yeah.
that, because
Such a shame you feel that way.
that's-
Yeah,
it's-
and
it
that's
is-
what
I know,
upsets
and
me.
you
I get
were
really hung up on that, because I'm like, you should be able to do that if you want, because I know she wants to, but she doesn't want to for the...
I can receive criticism, and that's fine,
Yeah.
but I think there's a fine line between it going to that next step, isn't it? And I think this is where online in the right hands is fantastic, but then there's the flip side of it, and
And
it
people
can become
be
a very dangerous, dark world.
It is. What I find, I mean, like me personally, you build a community of people that know you, and they're very respectful, and then
Absolutely.
you'll do a video or something, and it'll go a little bit more viral, or it'll reach a bigger, wider audience than people that know you, and that's where the dickheads live.
Yeah.
That's where the stupid
And we've had
comments
it.
come.
We have had it, haven't we? Why is that job done a certain way? Why is that? And I'm like, well, we all do things differently. It's not the wrong way. We're not one of them, are we? To ever, I can hand on heart say I've never gone onto someone's profile and looked for issues with the work, and I've never commented and put something on there to put someone down, because I don't feel like it's right. Like, that person might be dealing with some issues in the background, mental health, or you just don't know what people are going through, whether that's, you know, I feel like it costs nothing to be nice. If you've got nothing nice to say, don't say it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, it's not difficult, and I feel like social media,
People
like
get brave though, don't they?
over the internet, people do.
This is it.
And half of these people, again,
I've never picked up at all.
yeah.
Don't know what a handsaw is,
Yeah.
but then when
It's
it comes to
honestly, mate, it's
criticise them-
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I'll use a current existing example. I put a clip up the other day. My previous guest, Dave Smith, who was a veteran, so he's served, he's been honoured, he's won medals for like saving people's lives. And one of the clips that's blown up, there's people arguing amongst themselves in the comment about the noise a bullet makes. And it's like,
disgusting,
and they're all
though,
getting,
isn't it?
but they're all getting abusive to each other.
Yeah,
Crazy.
over
And it's
his,
like over his
Yeah.
description of the
Yeah.
sound of a bullet.
He's just given his live view
Yeah,
on.
there's people literally going, he's lying. I'm like, mate,
No.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
which let the
Yeah,
guy,
yeah.
give him a
For
break.
real.
Like, he's
Yeah.
told his story, you know.
Yeah,
and
but again, it's
People
because
are
it's
crazy.
reached that wider
Audience,
And some people,
yeah.
mate, I don't know what it is. They look and try and pick and find a problem in everything.
Yeah.
To a degree, you do have to just get that thick skin and be
I
like,
think
I know
that's
it's going to
right,
happen.
And that's why I've said to you, you've got to.
I think you guys, I think your socials could blow up because
Yeah.
you're so unique.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have got something that nobody else
It's taken
is really
for us.
doing.
We just wanted to sort of, again, just go to work, do the job, go home. But we know to grow our business, and again, it's not about money. I just want I want us, not me, us to be recognised, as well as Lucy, for just being good at what we do, be trusted in the area. We get an awful lot of work around Cheshire, Staffordshire, you know, Manchester, Liverpool, and people know that when we're turning up to do a job, it's done right, and we treat them with respect, you know.
What would you want to get, like, if you were to lean into social media and that, what would the aim of that be? Like, would you be interested in, say, I don't know, working with brands or all that? Do you work with brands? Has that happened?
We haven't, but we do want to work with Makita. Yeah, we'd love to work with Makita, and it's, I think from both of us, and again for you, that's a dream. You know, we would love to sit down with them.
It's not a dream, mate. It's not a dream. It's a goal.
Yeah, it's a goal. Okay, it is a goal. Yeah, I like that. Maybe I'll have to start telling myself that. But we have said that for us, from doing the line of work we do, everything that we own is typically Makita. We're not blue, we're not red, we're not yellow. We're anyone that gets a DeWalt van out the van, gets a DeWalt drill out the van, we're like, what is that? Like, not that there's anything wrong with it, there isn't. You know, they're a good brand, but we are literally Team Blue, aren't we? Everything's Makita. And we just love the quality of the products, you know, and everything, even clothing wise at home's Makita. It's been something, you know, for us that we've wanted to explore.
I think you've got a unique selling point with the two of you.
Yeah.
Genuinely. It's an interesting thing as well, Lucy, like going back the female joiner thing. I see both sides of the argument. 100% I get you.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I just want to be recognised for being. We have it the same. So, like in the P&D world, that I think there's more and more ladies coming into it.
Absolutely.
And hand on heart, like some of the girls in the trade are fucking incredible. Like good friend of mine, Hannah from Colour Coated, like some of the work she does.
Fantastic.
Unreal, honestly. She's one of the best decorators I know. Without doubt. Very much of the same opinion. Just value me for being a decorator.
I feel like females have that attention to detail. I know males do.
More patience as well, I think.
Exactly,
more finesse.
So.
Like it completely makes sense that there's a huge gap for women in the trade.
Absolutely.
Because you have got your strengths over
I feel like you'll probably agree, Russ, I'm not one of those, but there is males out there that we've spoken to or seen jobs that they've done, and it's fuck it, that'll do. And it's and it's like, no, it won't. You know, if I wouldn't have it, I wouldn't expect anyone else to have it. And you've always said that, haven't you? You know, that a female takes that
motto, and I feel like if you've got nothing else to go off, that's your bottom baseline of your standard of work of what's acceptable and what's not. And I just think that there's too many people nowadays, isn't there? Especially of let's have a go at this. Let's try and come into this industry, and to get to again, we're not by all means where we want to be.
No.
However, to get to this point has taken a lot of dedication and a lot of learning,
blood, sweat, and tears,
a lot of trial and error. And that isn't something that just happens overnight. That's years of experience that have gotten us to this point. And we've got people that look at us now and that are going, oh, well, I'm going to become a joiner, or I'm going to do this. And I'm like, but it's not, they think it comes quite quickly, and it doesn't.
No. You need to learn them mistakes.
You've got to learn them mistakes, but
that's
not
where the value is.
Of course it is,
The growth is always uncomfortable. There's value in failure. And then you reframe it, it's not failure, it's a lesson.
Absolutely.
You don't learn from winning.
We all make mistakes. It's human, 100%. Isn't it, to do that? And we say, we've met guys over the years in the trade that have been like, I know it all, and this I've been doing it 30 years, and I'm like, no.
The minute you stop learning, mate.
Exactly. Every day to us is a learning curve. You know, something may happen that's different to what's happened last week. You know,
look, I mean, your industry, I've no doubt, so I can speak for my own. Because I say this, like, I've been in business a long time, and I'm third generation, so I was born into the trade. But, and I will hand on heart say this, my knowledge, like, I've been doing the trade 25 years, probably at least 15 years of that is fucking irrelevant now. Because it's all different. The materials are different, the machine, the tools are different, the application methods are different. Completely irrelevant knowledge. You know, so when people stand there and they're like, well, I've been doing the trade 40 years, great. 30 of that's fucking useless. So you've got to keep. But that's where, you know, being open to learning, you have to.
Of course.
Like with my trade, the methods that come in, like all the dustless sanding systems, spray applications, all the paints have changed. Like there's so much you have to keep learning, otherwise you get left
it's
behind.
ongoing
Of
all the
course,
time,
yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
Exactly this.
We were speaking to a gentleman this morning on Instagram. I don't know if you've seen him,
You're
Chris.
always so polite when you say it, a gentleman.
Yeah, no, he's lovely. Again,
Some geezer.
yeah,
that's what
some
I'd
geezer.
say.
He's not.
Yeah,
I don't think he's followed us for a long time, but his name's Chris Lewis, and he's a carpenter. He's a joiner, and he lives down south. And he again has messaged, and he's been really supportive. I think he said he's late 50s, and he's another gentleman that's like, I love to see Lucy doing what she's doing at work with the power tools and the Makita stuff. And he's like, because when I was learning, he's like, I was using a brace and bit to put a hole into. And he said technology has come on so much, leaps and bounds. And again,
He's had to go.
he's had to go.
People get lost and stuck in the ways,
But
don't they?
he's now. We've got a guy called Alan, haven't we? That I did my apprenticeship with. He worked for one of these companies that I work for, and he's a brilliant guy. He's 50. He's set in his ways. He can be hard work at times, can't he? We love him. He's a great guy. He's harmless. He'd do anything for anybody. Fantastic joiner. And some of even the tools that we turn up with to jobs when he comes to help us, he's like, fucking hell, fella, what's that? And I'm like, well, that is my friend. And he's like, send me the link. Yeah. And again, because he's old school. He's not old fashioned, but he's old school. And he learned 30, 40 years ago. Some of the technology that obviously is coming now is making his life far easier, And
there's that, and plus all the building materials
of course,
are different now. Jack. The stuff that we use is, you'll be using different woods to what would have been mainstream years ago.
Absolutely.
Like oak was pound a penny. Like years ago, they'd use oak for everything.
It's so expensive.
Exactly.
Everything is expensive, and
even just some of the timbers that we're going to get now, the quality of the stuff back then, to the quality now, it's grown so quick. It's really poor quality.
I think
and then you're trying to make something good out of.
I went through a stage a couple of years ago. It was like a hobby that turned into a bit more. I was like refurbing old furniture and then spraying it, making it look modern, and selling it to designers. And I was always sanding down the tops of these things, and you'd get like old tiger grained oak.
I bet you didn't want to cover
compacted.
it.
I didn't. I'd leave it open and oil it. But I'd sand it back and be like, why have they covered this? But you can't even get it anymore.
It's timeless.
Because the tiger grain stuff, if I'm right in thinking, it's because it's that old. You just can't get it. Literally can't get the same grain.
And we say this, we have customers where, they've got beautiful homes. Some of them have got absolutely stunning homes, haven't they? And they've got old original staircases with like spindles with faces in them. And we're like, they have been done by hand. They've not been turned in a machine. They have been, that is a craftsman that has done that. And you will not find somebody this day and age. And if you will, they are very, very skilled, and you're going to pay a premium.
See, I do this all the time. So I love architecture. Right. So if I go somewhere, like a couple of weeks ago, I was in Warsaw in Poland. I love the architecture, the old buildings. I look at some of it, and I'm like, how did we as a species build that 200 years ago?
And then look at what's being put out now.
I think we've gone backwards.
100%.
Like in terms of craftsmanship, it's all now about speed and how to do it as cheap as possible.
The quality,
and that's
the outcome,
and that's
the longevity.
And that's the problem with sort of new builds and sites and stuff like that. Again, I'm not saying people that work on there aren't skilled. There is some very, very good lads that work on there. But I feel like because it's price work and it's get that done and you get paid, it's just rush, bang, 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 put that in, that'll do. And it's like, it's not acceptable.
Listen,
and
the prices are crap.
Of course,
I know from a decorating point of view, I've been offered new build work in the past. I look at it, I'm like, how much? To paint a whole house?
It's like
you're having a laugh.
But,
which is why they all get dashed out in oil-based
because it's not,
and,
in that time frame, they cannot do that to
and all credit to the lads doing it. Fair play. But it's not going to give you a quality job. Which blows my mind with new build houses, because there's a premium to buy them, and then the finish is
shocking.
Which again, it's like you imagine, like, again, you go to the Ferrari garage, right, and go buy that machine. It's incredible, but the finish will get paved down the road to hand paint it. Like, you're going to do it. But that's what they're doing with houses. It blows my mind.
It's crazy. We see it all the time, don't we? And again,
that's the way society is set up now, though, isn't it?
And it goes for pricing jobs. I don't know about yourself, Russ, but we get a lot of customers contact, and we'll give a quote, and it'll be, why is he more, or what? And I'm like, can you send it over, as we've discussed? And we'd look at the breakdown, wouldn't we? And it'd be fitting nice LBT flooring, but I'm not ply lining the floor, I'm not screeding it, and I'm like, we've quoted for that, and that's the reason why we are more, because we have give you a detailed breakdown of what we are doing start to finish to do the job right
Properly,
and to do it professionally. They are just coming in and they're putting a band-aid over a bullet wound. And that is literally all they're doing. It will last 2 minutes, and then it'll be, can you come and fix it? And we say, going with a cheap quote will cost you more money in the future. And and it's not, again, us just being, we want to take all this money off these people and get as much money as we can. It's just because we want to give them confidence that when the job's done, it's done right. And
the thing is, so Jack, it benefits everyone because, again, I think it's lacking knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not expecting clients to know how everything needs to be done.
No.
But at the
That's
same
why they're
time,
paying you to tell, to
there
give
is,
them that.
but at the same time, if you've got a client who is telling, like, so you turn up and you've got 3 quotes coming in, you turn up and you're like, I'm only doing it properly.
Yeah.
Here's my quotes, $2,000. Yeah. But then the next guy comes in, you've put your quote in, and they go, well, we've had a quote, it's $2,000. Our budget's £500, mate.
Yeah.
And then they're like, that's how much you've got to do to make it work.
Yeah.
So that person then caters.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll give you £500 worth of work.
Yeah.
2 minutes later, it's like they've ripped us off their cowboys.
Yeah.
But they don't turn around and go, but I did tell them I'd only got 500
you don't
quid.
get the full
I
picture.
did tell them not to worry about the screed.
Yeah.
I did say that,
Yeah.
it don't need that.
Yeah. But this is where we like to do
There's
things.
always a little bit more to
Exactly
it than
that.
what you initially know when you first go through
And
the
this is
door,
why we've
isn't
said,
it?
haven't we? We like to do things a little bit differently, don't we? And give people that little bit more time.
We vet our customers probably just as much as they vet us.
Yeah.
So important.
Yeah.
Because, like, we've had friends, luckily enough, we've never been stung like this and we've always been very fortunate, but we've got friends that have done, like, big extensions and finished the job, no problem with the work, not been paid. Customers never had the money to start with.
Yeah.
And I know people are saying going forward, they're asking for, like, proof of funds up front before starting. And I'm just like, it's a sad world when that's what it comes to.
It's really interesting, actually. Let me pause there a moment to address all of the painters and decorators in the room. Have you heard about the UK's first independent painting and decorating awards, the Golden Finish Awards? If not, go and check them out. This is your opportunity to be recognised for your skill. The first UK independent painting and decorating awards, not associated to a brand, purely associated to your skills. We're looking to recognise the exceptional skills shown in the painting and decorating industry. Jobs of all sizes and skill sets are there to be recognised. Check out the categories we've got on offer. There are 25 different categories within painting and decorating that you can get involved in. Check out the website at www.gfawards.co.uk and you'll see all of the categories that you can enter. And get ready for what is going to be the painting and decorating industry's event of the year for 2026. Now let's get back to the episode. About 3-4 episodes ago, I sat down with a chap called Johan Dyer, who started a company called Build Boss. I don't know if you've
seen him on Instagram.
And his, to summarise it, mate, I'm sorry if I get this wrong, but his business initiative is like PayPal for the construction industry. So it's like the homeowner actually has to put the funds in, and then you put the contract in, and it's like evaluated and released, so it's proof of funds. Essentially,
absolutely.
See,
both ways. Both ways.
It protects both parties, essentially.
Which, when he said it, I was like, that sounds like a cracking idea.
Absolutely.
Almost like, that's why isn't that a thing?
It's a really good idea. We've said this, haven't we, a number of times. I feel like, again, like Lucy just said, we look at customers and we vet them not on their appearance, but on their attitude, on how they deal with us, and I feel like, again, they look at us a certain way and they're going, well, their quote's more or their quote's less. And I feel like if you can ask people that are working for you, these professional people that are turning up providing a quote, if they can justify as to why they're more and why they're charging more, why that's extra,
people don't mind.
People don't mind, but I would rather that. And you've said the same, and we've spoke to family, we've spoke to friends, and we've asked that question. If we come in a little bit more than Dave from down the road, would you ask us why, or would you just close the job down and go with the cheap quote? And they're like, well, I'd like to ask why. And I say, well, that's the difference. We take that time to explain why we are more money or why we're less, what we're doing differently to them. It's not, I don't feel like it's always the service that you give on the job as well. It's the service that comes out of...
It's everything.
Yeah.
And like one of the things, and I was going to get to this with you guys, where you've got this USP, this unique sales point, is one of the things I was going to ask you about, Lucy, which is, I completely get where you're coming from. You want to be recognised as a tradesperson. There are obviously also ladies in the trades that lean heavily into the female. You know, I'm sure I'll probably Google it. If I Googled the female joiner, there's probably a business that do lean heavily on that unique sales point.
But it's for the wrong reason.
You think?
I
was
think
like, well,
so.
what's your opinion on that? Like, why?
Because they're sort of putting themselves out there to, again, if there's people out there that do that, that is fine. I'm not going to criticise.
No, mate,
I'm
just interested in the opinion.
For me, with being more so with Lucy for such a long time as well, and I know how she feels, I see that every day, that she gets sort of hung up on the fact that, you know, I don't want to put myself out there and be the female joiner.
I know, but then is that an issue with me and
No,
not an issue
no.
with that? Do you know what I mean? You can look at
it two ways. You
half
can.
glass,
I'm
half
genuinely
full.
interested to
Yeah.
see
for me,
the side of it. I see it, like I said, I see it both ways.
Yeah.
Because on the other side, I look at it just purely from a business point of view, and I think
What a niche.
maybe there's a job.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a job where you've got. Again, I'm going to be stereotypical here, but maybe you've got an old lady who lives alone who might look at you, Jack, and go,
Not a chance.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, that's
and we've
terrifying.
had that.
But you might turn up and they'll go,
Yeah.
oh, she's lovely.
Yeah,
I trust her.
yeah.
I'm safe
Yeah.
in my house.
Yeah.
You guys have got best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You know, because I would imagine there are some customers, whether they tell you or not, they will see you turn up, Lucy, and think, okay,
They'll have said it to us.
feel-
Some
Yeah.
some
100%,
will be
yeah.
watching this, and they will. Again, they follow us on social
It
media.
is. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
we as tradespeople also need to realise, like, a client, a lot of the time, I mean, I know me personally, I'll go into a house a lot of time, I'll go to work, or I'll get the keys, or I'll be on holiday.
Yeah,
There's a lot of trust,
Of course,
you know, to have
Absolutely.
you in their
Yeah.
personal space.
But I believe if someone's coming into your home, they should be trusted until they're given reason not to. And again, you know, trust is a two-way thing.
Isn't
Yeah, of
it?
course.
But if you're employing a professional to work on your home or outside your home, there has to be a level of trust. You cannot just employ someone to, whether it's put a patio in, you know, do some carpentry work internally, decorate the external of the property. If you're already in your mindset telling yourself, I can't trust this guy, I can't leave the kettle out, I can't do that, then you personally, you shouldn't be employing them. I don't think it's fair to do that.
I agree. I think the problem is obviously there's a side of it as well. You'll get tradespeople that will kind of ruin it for the
But
others.
I was just going to say that. Then you do get the bad ones.
Perfect. Here's an example for you. So I did a job. This was back end of last year. I was quite offended by it, if I'm honest. Like, there were words had with the client. But when I turned up on site, there was a female tradesperson there, and there were 6 or 7 lads working there as well. And when we turned up, it was me and my son. I literally got set up, started job, got to maybe 10 o'clock. I went, oh, excuse me, where's the toilet? Oh, the men are using the garden, basically. And we were told that we had to go up the garden behind the shed.
Stop it.
The lady on site was allowed to use the toilet, but this was because somebody had used the toilet and made a mess.
But
So
ruined it for everybody else.
Yeah, but it was like, see, and I was like,
Where do I go with this?
right. And well, my thing was, I said, look, with all due respect, I ain't an animal.
No,
No.
Like,
you're not.
I'm a house
Yeah.
trained.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like if I were to do that,
But
by all
imagine-
means, take it up with me.
Yeah.
But like,
But imagine
the
that.
customer is then going to tell their tradespeople, whoever they've got in the house, to go in the garden.
Yeah.
well, they did.
How many though have we?
But not only that, but the weird thing was, there was about 5 or 6 people, and they were all doing it.
Wow.
Like, and I turned up as the decorator, so I'm the
That
last
says a lot
man in.
about the company.
Yeah.
That
Well,
these
it
people
was
work
it
for.
was different people.
Yeah.
There
All the
wasn't
people.
There
Yeah.
wasn't this was loads of sole traders. You'd got a sparky, a carpenter, your kitchen fitters.
But
blah, blah, blah.
I feel like if
And
you had
they were
respect
all-
for yourself, you'd be like, "Excuse me, love.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm not being rude, but
Well, they were accepting of it, and I was like, look, at the very least,
Yeah.
if you don't want us using your bathroom, I understand that's fine, but you need to provide.
A
There needs to be a toilet on the
Yeah, of
drive or
course.
something.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, you've
Yeah.
got a problem with it. I'm like,
yeah,
Yeah,
yes, I have.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a
It's
human
not
at the end of
normal,
the day.
mate.
You know, you are human.
Yeah.
We've had customers tell us, haven't we? And we laugh at it. Yes, to us it can be funny, but it's also quite, you know, it's wrong.
People have seen on the CCTV.
We've worked for a couple recently, they'd had a builder, a company come around, and they were allowed to use the toilet, bearing in mind, but because they couldn't be bothered traipsing, it was a big house, because they couldn't be bothered traipsing through the house. They were doing an outside renovation patio, you know, extension. They were just on camera, just pissing up the side of the house, and I'm like, and the guy that we work for actually said my wife has seen like another guy's penis on CCTV, like, and we don't want to see that, you know. And I'm like, just why would you not just knock the door? And if it's an inconvenience, you say, I'm really sorry, can I use your toilet? It doesn't cost anything, or, you know.
I mean, I've had like many jobs. In fact, it's a question I normally have with a customer. I'll say, you know, if it's a big house, which toilet do you want us to use? And if you want to allocate, like, I'll use the downstairs closet, whatever it is, no problem.
As long as you're provided with somewhere where you can go and, you know, go to the toilet, I don't see, and you clean up after yourself and you're respectful, there's no issues. Like,
But this, again, as I say, like, business head on, I'm just thinking, you know, can you lean into the gap, the misconception, the bias that's anti-men. You know, there's that gap there. I completely get your point of view. But I guess I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on those people that do utilise.
I don't think, not that obviously we've not got a problem with it or anything like that. I think it's just a very different take on, I'm going to say it, morally. I've had to, like, really, again, going back to the toilet situation, bearing in mind the company I used to work for, I used to have to, all of our vehicles were trackered. I used to have to ring and ask so I could go to the toilet. And
cry
that
some
would
days.
be monitored of how many times you would go back into the toilet a day.
Bearing in mind, she'd be working.
The guys would go in the back of a vehicle or anything like that, whereas I'm not about to do that.
No.
If I want to go to the toilet, I'm going to go to the toilet. And again, to the point of having to fight for it, then I'm like, do I then want to use... Okay, it might be great to use that as a superpower and to push and advocate for that. For me, I look at it in the complete opposite. And I think, like, even when we very first got together, and like my mum and stuff, and she's like, you're missing a trick, you should be doing this, you should be pushing for it. And I'm like, I've just got a very different perspective on the way that it is. And I think it's glass half empty, glass half full kind of situation. And that's fine, and we support, obviously,
anyone.
There's loads of females that we know that are slowly coming through, plumbers, plasterers,
couple of joiners.
But I think they've got to be very careful with how they go about it, if that's what they're doing, because I know that there has been females that advertise as it's them, but then she's making out like she's doing the work and she's not, she's just subbing all the work out. But then she's using her name for the clout over the top of it. So you've got to be very mindful with how you want to go about it, because it's just it's a bit of a slippery slope for me.
So I've seen that. I've seen certain companies like in the decorating world, you'll have like all female decorators. And I think fair play. Like, if that's what you're doing, you know, and you get that client base that actually only want women to come and work,
which is fantastic for that reason.
Fine,
And this is why I said with the female joiner thing, you know, I think a lot that advertise it will attract a certain customer. And that's not me, again, criticising. Great. If you can do that and sell your business and sell that for yourself, great. That is fantastic. But for us, we just want to be known for being a reputable, good company that are respectful, do
100%
do a good job.
I think it's an important conversation to have, because there's both sides of the coin.
100%,
of course.
Absolutely.
Like, it's good to hear why. Because you've had to go through proving yourself to the point where you don't want that tag. But it's important to hear that why. Because,
absolutely.
you know,
unless people hear this, they will never know or understand.
Exactly.
You know,
but people might hear you talk now, Lucy, and be like, yeah, fair play. I get it. And I can say I get it, and I know both sides.
And that is more so why we wanted to come today, you know, to have this discussion. And I'll be honest, you were really like, oh, I don't know whether I should do it. And I was like, you need to go and explain these reasons as to why.
I'm sat here and I'm talking about it, and I'm going, I feel like I'm one of them now.
Yeah, but you're not.
I mean?
Yeah, but you're not.
And I don't.
But with all due respect, though, Lisa, like, I can't understand your journey because I haven't walked that path. And to an extent, Jack understands it better than anyone, but he still doesn't. He still hasn't had all the looks or the little slight doubt, the gestures that you've had to contend with all the way through. And that's why it's important for you to get your story out there. Not as like a negative, but just like, this is how it's been. This is how I now feel.
I think even now there's people probably that I used to work with that, again, we had really good relationships with, and they'll probably, even now we've got strangers that are our biggest supporters and that do more for us
than
and
friends,
are fighting our corner
and family.
than these
That's always the
people
way, mate.
Which
that
is sad.
I thought that were really good friends and colleagues
Yeah.
that I really valued and put them on that pedestal. And now I just think that they're
just a passing ship.
they would look
you know,
down on us,
yeah.
wouldn't
I feel
they?
like there's certain people, probably like yourself, they don't follow the page.
Yeah.
They don't like. They don't share. Not that I expect that.
No.
It
costs nothing
costs
to
nothing.
support
I
somebody.
support someone.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
support anybody.
Yeah.
I've always said our inboxes, Facebook, WhatsApp, bloody Instagram, they're always open.
Yeah.
You know, we're always down for speaking to people. If we can help anybody, we will. You know, but I feel like a lot of these people that are sitting and watching in the background are. They're not jealous, but these people don't follow the page that are friends. They don't support the page. You know, they don't press like. Oh, I seen that nice oak stair job you did the other week. And I'm like, you didn't press like though, did you? Yeah. Well, and I'm
You don't
like,
even follow the page,
but you
you're
don't even
actively
follow the page.
searching
So,
for it to know this.
but that for me.
And I'm like,
that for me is great.
You see, we've it's opened our eyes a lot.
Yeah.
Since
I-
going on our own
Yeah.
and realising who's in our corner and who's
Yeah.
not in our corner.
Because it's made me go, I don't want you at my dinner
No,
table.
no.
You're not my friend. Like, I'm sorry. Like, people that are friends and want to see you succeed, that is
They're
what
the people that
they're
want
the
that
people
table.
I want to associate with, that want to support my business.
To be honest with you, Jack, I think some of it is sometimes understanding.
Of course
Yeah.
it is.
Because, like, I can understand the graft that you guys will go through to build that profile and just how long that takes.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I know it. I have exactly the same, mate. Like, doing a podcast was a completely alien idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mates took
People,
piss.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
probably
You know
thought
what
you
I
were
mean?
crazy.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
mate, so I'd get on camera, like, my background, I guess I was, you know, you sort of like lad culture was
Yeah,
me
yeah.
up
Yeah,
till
yeah.
30,
Yeah,
so play
yeah.
football, rugby.
Yeah, go out for a beer or
out on-
something.
Yeah,
or-
exactly.
Yeah.
So I start like getting behind camera. All I had was my
Russ,
mates taking
a
the
pretty
piss.
boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jack.
Yeah.
So
Someone's got to give you credit, haven't they?
had all that, which, listen, I don't even knock them for it, fair play,
Yeah.
because I just see it as they don't
Of
understand.
course, yeah.
But I get the same.
It's a
So
good way of looking
even
at it, though.
even recently, I went out. So I've got a great, I still say, a great group of mates, lads that I've known since school. So
Yeah.
we're talking like, give my age away, but some of them like 30 years. I've known these
Yeah,
lads.
long
Yeah.
time.
And like recently, we went out night out. One of my mates, he's getting married soon, so we had a bit of a night out, and I just got bombarded. Oh, I saw you did this, saw you did that, and they knew everything.
Yeah.
Knew everything that I'd done.
Yeah.
But like you just said,
Never
there's-
once
Never.
they don't
supported.
No,
follow,
no.
like,
Yeah.
share, no comments,
Yeah.
no nothing.
Yeah.
It's like they spectate from a distance.
Yeah.
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 But there's a weird.
You'll also get, like, my friend shared a post, Denon, he shared a post on, he's a graphic designer, so big up Denon. He does all our logos, all our designs, but he shared a post onto his Instagram, and I've never met the guy for the last couple of years. He has been one of our biggest supporters. He's done loads for us.
Never
He's
met the guy.
never met him in my life.
Yeah.
I would like to meet him. We're
Yeah.
going to obviously meet up at some point when we get the time, but he will message me and he'd be like, nice job, guys. You know, he doesn't want nothing. He's just supporting us. You know, he will like, he will share, he will help us out as much as he can. But he shared something onto his Instagram, and it was a video of a gentleman. I think it was off TikTok or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was sort of down the lines of, when you're like successful and you're doing well, everybody then that was from years ago wants to then know you, and
Crawl out the woodwork.
yeah, they crawl out the woodwork and they're like, you're doing great, you know, can you do this, can you do that? And I'm like, I don't want to know them people anymore. Like, respectfully, like, if you were sat in the background watching and you didn't support and you didn't sort of even message, like, we've got friends that don't message at Christmas, they don't message at birthdays, but then when it comes to working in their home and them needing something, they want us. And I'm like, I don't,
like that.
respectfully, mate, I do not need anybody other than this person sat next to me and my mum. That is all that matters to
Generally
me.
speaking, guys, what will happen is you will work your bollocks off for years to make it.
Yeah.
Then you, whatever that means, right?
Yeah,
Then-
because we
then-
don't know.
Then
you
you'll
know.
make it,
Yeah.
and the minute it looks from the outside that you've made it,
Yeah.
then everyone will call you lucky.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I know exactly what you're going to say.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
follow them all.
Yeah.
And that's
But it's
that's
not
the
luck.
truth of
It's
it.
not luck though,
Yeah.
is it? Because it's you've worked, you've brought,
Yeah.
you've done that. I mean,
Yeah.
again, people that have had things handed to them by parents, businesses, cars, money. Fine. We've never come from anything like that. So to build what we are from nothing. I mean nothing.
No customer.
When I met Lucy, I had no money, I'll be honest. You borrowed me money to buy a van, you know, and she believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. Do you know what I mean? And she was like, you can do it. You will go out there. After obviously, yeah, because yeah, obviously she hasn't got it now. But no, like when I went self-employed, and obviously I took that jump, and I sort of had that push from the guy that I was working for. Lucy was like, look, I'll borrow you the money, give it a go. If it doesn't work, then what's, you know, after obviously having the conversation, what's the worst that's going to happen? Sell the van, you go work for a company again. Yeah. So when I didn't believe in myself, to have Lucy push me and go, do you know what, I don't really think it's a good idea, but I will support you. Honestly, it's the best thing we've ever done, and it's
somebody in your corner, don't you, that's going to fight for you. That when you don't believe in yourself, or you've got them doubts, that person's there to just pick you back up and go, go on.
Yeah, and I spit my dummy out often, and she knows that I can spit my dummy out, and Lucy's there to go, look, have a minute, go and sit in the van. You can do it. You've done it 10 times over.
But this is where having that,
it's rare though.
It is very rare.
What you guys have got is really rare.
Honestly, we started the business with nothing, did we? You know, and for you to say that it's rare that what we have, we don't think of it like that. This to us is just natural, isn't it? You know,
I think the thing with you guys as well that deserves credit is that you're all in on one thing. So, like you keep saying earlier, you know, if you have a bad day, you have a bad day.
Yeah.
That's got its plus and minus.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
On one side, like, there's nobody better to understand each other than you.
Yeah.
So if you go, oh, you know, this has happened at work, or the customer, whatever, you can really understand each other.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're both in it. So you haven't got maybe, like, say, I can have a bad day, my wife can have a great day, vice versa.
Yeah,
I can walk in and be like, fuck, and she can be like, well, yeah, I'm sorry you've had that, but I've had this.
Yeah.
And like, me and my wife, we're both business owners. In fact, between the two of us, we've got 5. But it is like all of our eggs are in different baskets.
Of course,
and, you know, like I've mentioned before, the last couple of years hasn't been great for one of her businesses. It's been supported by my side or another business. Or,
That's what you do.
But you guys are like...
We're all in together, aren't we? And
we're not... Oh, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot here. We're not really negative people, are we?
No.
I love a
Oh,
good
I don't know,
moan.
I don't know. You can be a negative Sally. You can. Or a Karen. Yeah, you can.
Don't call me a Karen.
Yeah, you're not a Karen, that's your mum. But no, I feel like we're not negative people. We turn up, like I said, we're always happy.
We've always got a smile on our face, and customers are always very uplifted by us.
I feel like when we turn up a lot of the time, it's Jack and Lucy, you know, tattoos or on the initial, they get to know us and they're like, would I use anyone else again? No, I wouldn't, because I trust you. You're lovely, you know. You do a fantastic.
We'll spend that 10 minutes with.
Of course,
the
we will. We'll have a
in the
coffee,
morning,
and it's not always ideal, mate. It isn't, because we're like, fucking hell, I'm down here
at 12 o'clock, and I'm like,
and I'm like, I'm getting told off, but at the same time, that sells a job and it sells us as people, and I feel like that's the difference.
People want that. People need that.
That can make. So you can have a customer as a one-off, or you can have a customer for life.
Absolutely.
And that's always the way I've looked at all my customers as customers for life. Because it might be that they've just got me in to paint a downstairs toilet, but over the course of 50 years, that could be houses, it could be friends' houses,
of course,
families' houses, and all the rest
And we
of it.
would rather, again, work for people that we've come recommended to them. So they know that we've worked for John, and John's recommended us to Sue, and Sue knows that she trusts what John's judgment is, and John said, "Oh, Thomas and Co are a great company." And
generally speaking, you're not then quoting against 3-4 people.
Exactly, we do get it an awful lot. And again, I'm not just going to say burst our bubble or whatever, but we get an awful lot of people contact us and say, "Don't want a quote." We know that you're going to. Again, we won't take the piss. Don't take the piss. We charge a fair price for a professional job, and it's done right the first time. There's no comebacks. There's no backing and forthing.
I don't feel like that's too much to ask for this day and age, is it? But
this is where
we see, obviously, it is. And customers say that's a very you've got that niche in the market of where it's not just doing the job, getting in, getting the money and getting out.
Yeah.
It's everything
It's
in
the
between. It's
aftercare.
that customer aftercare.
Yeah.
It's everything else, and that's as big a part of the business as just turning up and doing the job, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's the difference between running a job or running a business.
Business, yeah.
absolutely.
Because you've got all the customer relations,
And
the
I think that's
aftercare
what a
and all
lot
that.
of customers, when they are looking at getting quotes, make the mistake of is they think to us it's just a job, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really
It's
not.
not.
It's
No.
not. They don't see the background work of I lay in bed most evenings till gone midnight, scrolling through how I can better myself, Lucy, and the business, what I can do, to help us grow. What I can do to benefit my customers more, how I can save them money. They think that when we give a price, it's just pulled off the top of my head. It's not. These things take time, and a lot
of detail
There's a lot of
that goes
detail.
into
Yeah,
that, isn't
definitely. And I feel like that's where we do try to do things differently, and say to customers, trust us, and you won't want to use somebody else.
Yeah.
Essentially, okay. We always say go and get 3 quotes, but we do the job that we do because we love it. We have a passion for what we do. We like meeting new customers. And again, every day is a school day, isn't it? It's something different every day. It might be the same job. It might be door frames, doors, stairs. But every job is different. Every customer is different. We treat everyone, again, how we want to be treated. But certain customers, you can say certain things to. There's got to be a fine line, obviously.
You have to be a social chameleon. With
You do,
customers,
yeah.
I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Yeah.
that also sells a job sometimes.
You've got to read
Standing,
the room, haven't
yeah,
you?
you have to. Yeah, that's
you're being received by the customer,
Yeah.
because we've got customers that have gone in and been very quiet, very prim and proper,
Prim and
and by
proper.
the end of it, they've been effing and jeffing,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
you
Yeah.
are not the person
Yeah.
that I thought
But that you can
were,
tell
but
that they've
you can see that they've
come
come
out
out the
the
shell,
shell. Yeah.
which is nice, and
Yeah.
we've left and they've gone, wouldn't use anybody else. You've
Yeah.
made me feel completely comfortable. You've taken the dog out for his business at dinner time,
Yeah.
or we always take treats for the cats and the dogs for the customers.
Yeah, there's always treats
little
in the
things
van.
like that, and we love our animals, don't we?
Yeah.
So,
These are
and-
great points that you're
Yeah.
making.
Yeah.
That is so important to people that want to run a successful business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it isn't just about doing
Doing
the
the
job
job.
right.
No,
I mean,
no.
big part
Yeah,
of it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But making people feel comfortable,
Yeah.
certainly in the domestic
That's our
market.
Yeah.
biggest thing is
It's huge.
people feeling comfortable in the homes
Yeah.
after hearing
Yeah.
so many. Again,
People have bad experiences,
and this
or
this
being
is why
burned.
we not be an advocate, but we want to be able to talk about this, and we hear horror stories day in, day out. We get
Yeah.
sent videos, get sent pictures. We've had a job at the minute that we've done. Lovely young couple renovating the house. They've had a joiner go and put in an oak staircase. Honestly, the workmanship it's disgusting. It's that bad. It's shocking.
Yeah.
He's charged a very, very good premium, probably more than what we would actually
Yeah.
charge. I'll be
Yeah.
completely honest. And the job that we would do would have been 10 times better. But I feel like that these rogue traders that are out there and that people are dealing with, we're not all bad. We're not all bad. We have a personality. We have a social life. We can sit down and have a conversation. We actually care about the people we work for. Whereas some of these bigger companies that are coming in, charging a really good wage and doing a really poor job, they have no.
in and out.
Yeah,
aren't
they
they?
don't-
One of the problems, though, Jack, isn't it? Because, and not knocking some of these companies, but this is where I was talking before about, working demographics. If you're going to get bigger, there's
Yeah.
certain niches of work that tailor
course.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the people, not everyone, but like you just said, you go home, you think about work.
Yeah.
If somebody's gone to do a job, they don't. They
It's a
switch
job.
off at
Yeah,
half
no,
Yeah,
four.
it's a
I know,
job.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
if their company
I
are
know.
telling them, you've got 2 days, mate,
Yeah.
they have to do it in 2
2
days.
days.
Yeah,
But at
yeah.
half 4, they're done.
And
Yeah.
that's another
That's
thing
switch
as well.
off.
You
Yeah.
you will understand better than anybody being in the
Yeah.
trade. We've had jobs where we've gone, do that in 2 days, and it's gone into 4 days. I've still not charged for it.
Yeah, of course.
That extra time,
Yeah.
another company would, because obviously, the money driven, and the customer's like, I'll pay you the extra, and I'm like, no, what?
not about that,
Well, the
is
last
it?
guy I had that
Yeah.
took longer, and I'm like, we're not that last guy. We want them to know that when we've when we give a quote for a job, that quote is all in,
That's the
unless
price.
obviously something is completely unforeseen.
Yeah.
If we're
Floor joists
joists are
or
rotten,
anything,
or
yeah.
and we explain that in our
comfortable
quotation.
structure,
Yeah,
yeah.
we structure that quote a lot more detailed to what it would be. Just for fitting internal doors and frames, obviously. Or
I'd employ you guys.
No,
Would you?
You sold yourselves to me.
really,
So,
I
yeah,
love
yeah,
that.
100%,
I love
man.
that, and that for us is everything. To hear that coming from yourself as well, we say, don't we, to people, just do your research, and go online, and don't always go off reviews either. Just go off recommendations. You can ring
We've got
about.
some customers, haven't we, that have turned around and said that if you have got future customers that have
Send
had
them
like
to our
bad
house.
experiences
Yeah.
or have had a bad experience, come use our home as
Yeah,
like
as a
the
show
show
home.
home and
Yeah.
to showcase your work so that people
That's
can
nice,
see it
isn't it?
firsthand. And I'm like, what a lovely thing
We've got
to,
some good
to
customers
say,
that-
to,
Genuinely, like,
to
the-
vet for us and
The
fight
passion
for us.
you guys have got for your industry has not dropped throughout the whole conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, like it's inspiring. Actually, to be fair, you do
Thank you.
have a very positive outlook on it.
Yeah. It's not always positive, mate. Honestly,
it's
it
not.
can.
Oh, cool,
It
mate,
can
we
be
were talking about
but-
this pre-record.
Yeah, of
there
course.
are certain things
Yeah.
that test everyone.
Yeah,
course.
absolutely.
But as an overall thing, like, and again, I think it's a great conversation. Hopefully, some people considering getting into the trade will be listening to this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From both of your perspectives, because you've got a different take on it. I guess to you first, Lucy, like the female in the industry element of it.
Yes.
If you could do anything to improve that for ladies coming into the trades, what would you do to change? If there was anything you could change to make it
Yeah.
more appealing, interesting, better, safer, whatever it is, what would you do?
I think it starts off from schooling. I think it's the interest or that putting that fire in somebody's belly needs to be done from a young age. I think that the colleges, and again, I've been back to my high school and my college and have done a couple of talks because they've had very few females that have come in and have said, thinking about potentially getting into a trade, but we're a little bit unsure, don't quite know. And some of my old teachers have gone, we'll get loose in, just come and have a chat with you for half an hour. And one of the young girls was, I said to her, look, go and get a little Saturday job in like B&Q or somewhere so you can get, you know what a piece of 4x2 is, you know what a hammer is, so that to a potential employer, you have basic knowledge of building materials or tools. And then see if you can enrol on something at college. And she ended up going to do that. And I know she enrolled on a multi-skilled joiners course at one of the local colleges. But again, I think that there wasn't enough of a community of females for her to potentially go to or to be able to give that advice to. So obviously it was only because I still had a good relationship with the one teacher that she was able to bring me in. But if that hadn't have been for that teacher of knowing me...
Would you be open to having those conversations?
With young females?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm just thinking, like,
100%.
there could be somebody listening to this now. It could be a parent.
Yeah.
It could be a brother, sister. It could be the young person themselves that actually thinks, do you know what, it'd be great if so-and-so could have a chat with Lucy.
We will always make that time.
Absolutely.
Always.
Yeah. We've
always.
had friends'
Well,
daughters,
before we
haven't
move past it, what are your socials?
So on Facebook, it's
Yeah.
Thomas and Co. And then on Instagram, it's Thomas and Co. Joinery. And I say that with pride as well, because we started that page with nothing. We've got like 7,000 followers on Facebook. It's not a lot, but again, we've got a really good little support network. Instagram has gone from 900 followers in 2 years to 4K, which is a lot.
Just broke 4K
Just broke
today.
4K today.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so thank you very much. But no, you've always said, haven't you, especially again to college tutors that have taught Lucy previously, that we will always make that time for people.
There's no better person to speak to somebody than somebody like you.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying.
Someone who's
Like, so if
experienced.
anyone is listening and wants to drop into your DMs and have a chat with you about
Always.
life
Yeah.
in the trades,
Yeah, they're always
I'd
open.
love that.
Yeah.
We are looking to. We would love to take on an apprentice.
Yeah.
But I want a female apprentice.
For the reason that there's not enough coming through.
So I did go back to my old college just before Christmas.
Yeah.
And Andy said it's the first year this year that they've actually got 3 girls enrolled on their MBQ level 2 and 3. Normally,
fantastic.
obviously, because when I was at college, it was just myself. There was no other females on the course at the time. But he says slowly but surely the numbers are creeping in favour and they are coming through, but it's still not enough.
Yeah.
And he said, look, come in, you can just stand in the background and observe and just have a look at the classroom and how things are set up. And if you do want to give any of these people an opportunity, then we'd be more than happy to do. You can do their day release with you or just a bit of work experience.
And if anyone is watching and would like to come and do a couple of days with us
Yeah.
and the local,
Yeah.
and we can help, we're more than happy to
I
do
love that, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's it. That's what it needs,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, it doesn't cost us anything other than a little bit of fuel if we have to
No.
pick them up, And again, it's a little bit of time
Yeah.
that we will take out.
Again, even guys.
Guys, absolutely. We're not all.
No.
That's not us going down the female route,
No.
Again, we
No,
have
no.
said, we've got a young lad that is doing his work experience with us in May.
Yeah.
And this is for a family that we've worked for over the last couple of years.
She come to us. And
She
said,
come to
my
us,
son
yeah.
said that we asked him what he wanted to do for his work experience, and
he's like, I want to work
he
for
went,
Thomas and Co.
I want to do the people that come and did the doors. Can
Yeah.
can I go and do my work experience
cool.
with
Yeah.
them? And so she reached out, and we said
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely,
So
of course we will.
again,
Yeah.
if we can put that fire into somebody's belly,
Yeah.
we've done a little bit of good.
And he's in
haven't we?
safe hands. Do you know what I mean? We'll look after
Yeah.
him, and I feel like, again, he may leave us in a week's time and go, I might want to do that when I leave school. It gives us that.
But the schools don't have that opportunity.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
again, I mean, talking about, promoting females in the trade, just having people working alongside you,
Yeah.
Lucy,
Yeah.
will build that respect.
Yeah.
Because they'll see how good you are and be like,
Yeah.
absolutely, there's no
Yeah.
reason why not.
Yeah. And this is it. We're a firm believer, and if another female can do it, why can't they do it? Or another male can do it, why can't they do it? If you have that mentality of, why not give it a go? I'll go to college and I'll give it a go. I might enjoy it. If they put the mind to it, there's no reason why they can't do it. There
100%,
literally isn't. Because again, I used to tell myself, I used to beat myself up. I'm not academic. I've got no GCSEs. The college won't want me. I got given an opportunity to get an apprenticeship, and Alan took me under his wing at a company that I worked for. And without that and him doing that, because I probably was a little shit, I wouldn't be where I am today, without that support network. And this is why we've said it's good to have them people around.
There's a lot of value in both of your stories.
Of course.
You coming through the academic route, you coming through your route, adversity that both of you have faced, there's so much value in that, because that gives you real lived experience, and you can't put a price tag on that.
Yeah.
So
Makes
for you
wanna
to go
push
and
further.
And this is
but
it. And
for you to talk to a young person, there's
Yeah.
no amount of textbooks and classrooms
course.
and all
That
that lot
can
Yeah.
teach
that can give the value that you guys have earned
and that's what
learned.
we want people to understand and experience themselves. They can come and work with us, do a bit of work experience, even a day release from.
Honestly, I think you two going and talking to youngsters at colleges, schools, all that kind of stuff, I think you've got a really unique perspective. You've got two really
I'm
good
so
angles to
honestly
hit
so
there.
proud of Lucy for doing that. You've done it a couple of, probably 3 times now.
Yeah.
Gone in, had talks with, not just a small group of people, a big group of people that are a bit unsure at school what they want to do. And for Lucy being so anxious, you do suffer with anxiety, don't you?
I think when you're for me, my anxiety is more of
Anxiety. It's every time I hear her say that, it's that song that's like.
it's more
in the-
like social.
Yeah.
When I can talk about something
Do you love?
that I love and I know, it becomes very easy. It
You-
becomes very
you've spoken
natural.
really easily today.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love. You never know who's listening to these things. That's why I say all this stuff, because you
Yeah.
don't know who's going to pull the thread.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see people like you two talking to not just kids, but education boards.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just getting across that, just trying to hammer in.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Actually, academic isn't.
Yeah.
Yes, it's and look.
It is
'cause
important.
It is, of
absolutely.
course,
It's
yeah.
not
The thing
saying,
is, 'cause I say all
been
this,
that
And that's
way.
not me
Yeah.
saying I failed at school.
No,
Don't,
no.
No.
Yeah.
listen.
People, it can come across a little bit that I'm anti-academia, anti-education.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Yeah. No, no.
Yeah.
I'm anti-misdirection and no
Absolutely.
direction.
Yeah.
If somebody knows they want to be a solicitor, a doctor,
Amazing.
or whatever,
Yeah.
absolutely
Great.
go get yourself off
Yeah.
to uni,
Yeah.
do that, great, be great for you.
Yeah.
But it's the default setting at the moment, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's like, to all kids, you have to do
That.
sixth
This to get
form,
to that,
uni,
to that.
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's the default. That's
I feel
what I'm
like
saying.
Lucy said, a while back, there's a lot of pressure on kids to, we've got a friend at the minute, he's a plasterer, and his daughter is probably 15, maybe 14,
yeah.
close to leaving school, and she's a little bit unsure about what she wants to do. And he called you, didn't he, and said that he'd obviously spoken to a lady at a college, and he did a bit of background research, and he was asking Lucy her take on it, and she was like, tell her to give it a go. Unless you try, you do not know genuinely, And what's the worst that's going to happen? They go to college from school to do a trade for 12 months maybe, level 1. They don't enjoy it. They've learned a skill for a year. But again, once you have that skill, once you're qualified as a trade, you cannot take them skills away. Once these hands have earned that time and experience, you cannot you cannot lose that skill.
Mate, I'm testament to that. So I've been running my business for 25 years with a couple of exceptions. So I stepped out of the trade. No, I was a contract manager for just about 18 months. Shirt and trousers. Fucking hated it.
I was just going to say, I bet you hated it.
Hated it. But I stopped my business because I thought, it's weird actually, a lot of people when you get into the trades, I speak to some young people and you say, you know, what's your objectives? And it's generally, get really good at my trade, get my own business, take people on, get bigger and get off the
loads
tools.
Of money and
they want to get off the tools before they've got on the tools. But I did that. I got I was made an offer by a friend of mine who had started a company that did well. And he was like, look, we need a contract manager. You're perfect for it, blah, blah, blah. Will you do it? And I was like, do you know what? Could be my avenue. Tried it, didn't like it. But my point being, I put the business on hold for 18 months, came back into the trade and I was busy.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
Within 6 weeks, I've got like 6 months worth of work.
But that's because
you've got a trade for life. There's a point I was trying to make around the houses.
And this is where, obviously, you are very good at what you do. You will never be out of work.
No,
you know,
exactly.
Again, you know, we can't say enough, can we? There's that many people out there that don't believe in themselves. Oh, you know, and we know, lads, again, if you're watching this, and that they work for companies, and we know them personally as well as from obviously work backgrounds, they are very, very good at what they do, and they are too scared they're wasted. They're too scared to step out of that comfort zone of I get paid a set amount each month, each week. It's not always about money, you know. Okay, what sort of place is it you are working for?
What sort of environment does that set up?
That's horrific.
If you're not happy going to work for me, I'd rather earn less money and be at work and be happy. I really would.
I'll be honest though, mate, with a massive skills shortage in the UK, if you're a good tradesperson, you ain't going to be short of money.
This is it.
You ain't going to be short of money.
And I'm not saying we're rich. We're not rich.
We're doing 7 days a week because we can't keep up with the influx of work that's coming in. People don't want to wait that long, and we don't want to turn them down. We don't want to let people down.
So we go and help as much as we can.
Well, you guys have got to be careful with that.
I know.
I fell into that.
We do know that. Yeah, we do know that. It's very. It's very
No, but mate, listen, as a business owner, saying no is a superpower.
It is, and we have to. We have to. We know that better than anyone, don't we? It can be hard because we're like,
can you just whilst you're here?
But
go on
you
then.
learn from it. And the last time I did that, I put a screw in a pipe, didn't I? And it's again, it cost me money, an expensive boo-boo. But these things happen, and you know, I think life sort of throws all sorts of spanners at you, and you know. It's how you lessons. It's how you it's how you overcome that and deal with that as a person.
Spanners, if you
literally, it's like dong dong. But no, we've said that obviously to be good at what you do and be successful, you need that trial and error. You need to go out firsthand and experience it. If you go to be self-employed, you don't enjoy it in 6 months, you find it's not for you. Great, go and get another job back at a company.
That's the thing though, isn't it? The way the schools put it to the kids at like 14, 15, you need to pick a job for life now. This is what you're going to do forever.
We're in 2026, mate. It's not, you know, it's not like that.
A little bit since then.
I feel like we're both so fortunate because, I say fortunate, we're not. I feel like because we enjoy and we love what we do, this is why we're so passionate, and
it doesn't feel like
work. No, every day's different. You know, we could be doing one thing one day, something different the next, and everyone we work for is also different. So you could work for one client that's making you a cup of tea in the morning and having a chat for half an hour. You can work for one that's doesn't want to talk to you and is quite happy for you to get on with what you're doing, which sometimes is great because that job needs completing in that time frame, and you've only allowed so long for that job, whereas the first job that you're having a coffee for, you've allowed that little bit more time to take out because your customer likes a chat and a brew before you start. And we say we like that regardless. We will make that time for people,
It's finding that balance, isn't it?
It's not.
Happy medium,
We've come home some days and both had mental breakdowns. And I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm doing this to sort of deal with a
Below minimum
customer.
wage for
Yeah,
what we've done.
treating.
It's been a graft, and
We've worked
yeah.
14-hour days and earned nothing. You know, we've had jobs that have cost us money that we shouldn't have been doing in the first place.
But you're still sat here talking
It's
like
a
you love
learning
it.
curve.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
do. I
No,
do.
we do.
I
We
could
do
tell you
love
some
it,
stories,
yeah.
but you know, it's,
Do you know what? I want to, because again, obviously this podcast has had a big focus around mental health, and you've just mentioned it there. The construction industry is the worst industry in the UK for suicide figures.
Yeah,
It overtook farmers, vets, and all the rest of it. It is the worst. It's interesting. I don't mean this. It's a bit of a morbid sort of thing to say this, to be fair, Lucy, but it is a male-dominated industry currently.
Yeah.
The amount of women coming in is on the up.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to whether it's men specifically that are badly affected or whether it's the industry. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
I've seen some surveys
Yeah.
recently. Like
Yeah.
the other thing is it's really hard to find statistics on
Of
mental health in
course, yeah.
construction.
Yeah.
But I've seen some recent surveys that are suggesting that it is the industry, and that I saw a survey reporting that I think it was over 73% of women in construction
Yeah.
had reported like severe mental health issues related to work.
Yeah.
I think the male thing is about 80% in construction, so they're very, very similar.
Absolutely. I would agree with you that it's the construction industry as a
Itself.
whole.
Yeah.
For me, my lowest point is when I was obviously employed by that company, and again, I was there for 11 years, so
Long time.
who was the fool? For me, I had some really, really dark days then, didn't I?
Yeah.
And it was horrible, and it was, you would have a half an hour, obviously it was very figure pushed, and your timekeeping, your you can be sat on the phone for 2 hours to ring to get a purchase order, not a problem. But if you go 1 minute over your dinner or 30 seconds over, you're on the phone and you're pulled in for a disciplinary.
Yeah.
So for me, it become very psychological. So I was at the point where we just had Rupert, hadn't we?
Yeah.
And I was going at home at dinner time to let him out to go and do a toilet and stuff.
Just to clarify, Rupert is a dog, not a
Yeah,
baby.
yeah. No,
He's our baby.
He is our
Yeah,
baby.
he is. We haven't
Well,
got
yeah,
to.
I know,
yeah.
as a
He's our
dog parent,
baby.
I understand.
Yeah, he's our baby.
He is our baby.
Big
We've
up
got no
Rupert,
children.
yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's our firstborn.
He is. He's brilliant. Yeah.
I was setting my Garmin for half an hour timer so that I knew I wouldn't be pulled in for a disciplinary.
But what sort of life is that to live?
To make sure that I could get from my job to home and back to work and then stop it and go, 28 minutes, 39 seconds, I'm safe. But it becomes psychological, and I was doing that every single day, and then obviously was telling you about obviously having to ring to ask to go for the toilet, get permission for all these things.
That's not
and
happening.
They're not bothered
Yeah,
that
not
you've
happening.
done 7 more jobs than everybody else did that day, and your performance, you're the top performer.
Yeah.
That doesn't even come into it. But for me, it was a really dark point, wasn't it? Of when, and this is when I got to the point of where I just went, I can't do this anymore.
She ended up taking quite a bit of time off work.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to work for this company that once upon a time was the best job in the world. I loved it. And a lot of the staff, again, that are still there now would say the same. It went through change of hands, quite a few redundancies, a lot of moving parts, new company come in, and it wasn't the same. And it was all figures.
It's fascinating, again, like I say, in a morbid way. There's a huge problem in construction.
Yeah.
We all sit here and say we love it, but there is a huge problem
there
with
is.
mental health.
Yeah.
And men and women are different.
Yeah.
So I'll probably get
Well, we
cancelled for
deal
saying
with
that these
things.
days.
We
but,
deal with things differently to what.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
getting at.
Yeah.
So the curiosity is there. Is like, will the same things affect both genders in the same way?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But things might affect women more on a different level than what would affect a bloke.
Yeah. Well, that can be down
think-
to a hormonal thing. That could be down to
Of course, it could be.
and I
that.
don't mean that,
I think
again,
that
in any.
I was a very easy target because
Yeah.
I was probably there was me and probably one other guy that had a set of bollocks and
To
would
actually
actually
say
speak
something.
up.
Yeah.
So you'd go into these meetings and everybody before the meeting would come to you and fill you with all this information, but then it'd be me and somebody
you
else.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'd all sit there and then manager would go, well, what does
Yeah.
everybody else think? And they'd all
They'd put the
crawl
bullet in the
their own
gun and
arse.
Lucy'd fire it, basically. Do you know what I mean? Because she was the only one
But
that
I was a very
actually.
easy target
Yeah.
for that in terms of I will stand up and speak up for myself and for other people if I
Yeah.
feel that something isn't right. And you say load the gun. I feel like for me, because a lot of people, a couple of colleagues would come to me and go, just be careful what you're saying, you're raising your head to the wrong people, or you're asking questions that's going to put you in a tricky position. And I went, well, if it affects me and it just so happens to be your issue and your issue, great for you, because I'm bringing it up for myself. That's my reason for bringing it up. If it just so happens that it suits you as well, then it's a different way of looking at it. But I think I'd become a very easy target because I was willing to speak up and speak out about these things that weren't right, or the way that things, you're precious about time over this, but you're allowing this to happen. Well, we can save time to do this. Maybe if you sorted that out, who are you to tell me what? And I'm like, well, don't come to me when there's an issue and you want solutions and you want group input and you want all of this. But and then again, I just went, why am I doing this? Because what I say doesn't change the value of anything, and I'm obviously not valued here. So why would I want to continue putting myself through this? And that's obviously when I finally, and I've still got the email now of my notice on my phone of when I handed it in, because for me it was the biggest moment in my life.
She was like, I'm going to send it. I'm going to send it, press send. And I was like, fucking hell, damn right, send that fucking email, send now. And we were both like this at the phone, weren't we? Yeah. Not one person, when she sent that email, contacted her. It was just, can you drop your van off? Can you drop your uniform?
Off, what was it?
And we were like, for me, it was sad, because I know how much, obviously.
It was valued.
Yeah. And I feel like, I'm not saying every company is like that, but bigger companies, you are sometimes just a number.
A lot of the time, mate. A lot of the time, you end up running yourself into the ground to build somebody else's castle.
Yeah.
And the minute you hit, you know,
mate, honestly,
your knees, they're like, there's no room
we were
for
going
you
to work, right? The first week that obviously we set up the business, we were going to work, and Lucy was like, can I get a coffee from Costa? And I was like, why are you asking? You're your own boss. Like, you do what you do. You do what you want.
Been so used to that environment.
Yeah, she was going. And again, for me, I was like that. Like, it made me sad. Like, although it was funny to hear, she'd be like, I need the toilet. And I'm like, just go. Like, you don't need to. And that's what happens. Like, these companies sometimes put, again, for your mental health, like for Lucy to go from ringing to ask, can I go to the toilet? I'm 5 minutes away from home on a job. I've finished the job in between my next job. I'll have my dinner at home, let the dog out, and I'll go for a week. No, you're not doing that. And I'm like, no, you will fucking go home.
Dehumanising,
it is. And I'm
stopping people's toilet breaks, man.
Yeah.
But
I'm trying to think, where does that even happen?
Yeah. Well,
funnily enough, actually, so I've got a daughter as well. My daughter's 13.
Yeah.
I had this conversation with her a few weeks back, because she told me how she'd got in trouble with one of her teachers because that was over going to the toilet, because the teacher had said no to her. And I was like,
Freya, she needs the toilet.
Freya, just go.
Yeah.
Like, I'll deal with whatever the kickback is.
But that's part of you being a supportive dad, knowing that if my daughter needs something, I will...
You're not going to have her sit there in pain.
No.
Well, what had happened, apparently, the whole context of the situation, she'd asked to go to the toilet.
So bad.
The teacher had said, it's near the end of the lesson, you can wait.
Yeah.
And they've got a rule at the school where they're not allowed to walk around the school without their blazer on, but they can take it off in the class.
Yeah.
So the bell had gone, she'd got up to go, obviously desperate for the toilet boy now. Yeah. So she's picked her blazer up, it was in her arm. And she said, according to her, a few other kids went through without their blazer on.
And
got to her, and the teacher put their hand in front of her face and said, stop, you need to put your blazer on before you leave. So my daughter just moved her hand out the way and left and went to the toilet, which resulted in a phone call home. Yeah. The teacher's version was that she'd pushed her out the way.
And I'm sure that Dad's going to believe his daughter and know that his daughter's...
when I spoke to my daughter, I went, Freya, next time she says no, just go. I don't... And if she stands in your way, do push her out the way.
But this is the problem with, absolutely. This is a problem, though, with kids that are... experiencing issues at school and stuff. If they are, they need to talk about it, come home and tell their parents.
My daughter knows, and my son always knew, I've got their back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not a big fan of the education system, so I'm like,
One problem could lead on to another, though, can't it? Because, again, not delving too much, but when you've got bad anxiety, I used to be really, really bad when we first went on our own. Even now, I always need to go to the toilet. Yeah. But Jack says that's because you've been so used to holding yourself and not wanting to go.
I'm not joking.
It's not just mental health problems, it then becomes physical
Even now,
problems.
mate, we'll leave to go to a job 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, whenever it is that we're leaving, giving ourselves enough time to get there. Lucy will have a shower, do what she needs to do, brush her teeth, go for a wee, and then literally we're about to go out the door, and she's like, I need a wee. And I'm like, you've just been. And she's like, I need a wee. And I'm like, that's why I can't then tell her, you don't need a wee. If she needs a wee, she needs to go. But she will sit there, the door will be open, and it'll be boop. And I'm like, you didn't need a wee.
I'm like, I'm good now.
It is that in her mind, and it's
But
funny.
it's the trauma.
And
It's,
and as
under
funny
what
as
you
it
have to
is
work
to
under.
some people, and I laugh about it.
I can. I'm very open
we
about
can,
it. Like,
but
I'm
that
not, like,
it has had an adverse effect on her. Now, even 5 years later, she still struggles. You know,
That's what I'm saying. Actually, I know, like you laugh and you joke about it, but it's actually really sad that that's happened.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Through
Yeah.
that kind of like manipulative bullying,
Behaviour,
over controlling shit
and
that
that's
goes on.
That is the problem in these companies. Some people, I'm not saying they're all like that, they're
No,
not,
of course.
but there is people in a position of power that shouldn't be.
But they don't realise then that the knock on that something so small can become so big.
It becomes part of you forever.
And in an industry that is clearly struggling, the stats are showing it's
You
struggling.
don't need to add anything to that already.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I agree. Totally agree. Yeah. Even now, like some of the things, that happens, you go, God, I remember that happening to me years ago. And I'm like, it has that knock-on effect later on in life as well.
I think my experience with that is probably very different in terms of other people's issues that they've had, because I imagine what happened to me was a very small amount, and again, it's different for a girl to a guy, isn't it? And obviously none of the guys that I work with have ever had to experience that, because they would just go in a bucket in the back of the van or
and I'm like, but even then, you shouldn't have to.
You shouldn't have to. Like, that's still
as
wrong.
much as we laugh about it.
It was the first time, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say this really. So I haven't had any women work for me in my company, not through selective. It just hasn't happened.
Yeah.
But I sat down here on an episode with somebody. I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was, but I remember them highlighting to me the issue about being a girl, being on site, and being like basically a dirty, filthy site toilet. Only one, and her being like time of the month. And she was having to basically go home to use her toilet because it was the only thing that was sanitary enough to use. And then getting in shit for coming back, and you know,
and,
and she was kind of accused of, you're being snobby for not wanting to. But she was like, basically,
I shouldn't have to.
I'm on my period.
But she shouldn't have to explain herself. It's personal.
And like she was saying, there was nowhere to dispose of anything. And it was this light bulb for me where I thought, shit, I hadn't even considered
but this is
like
how
women
far...
having to go through that in a site environment.
To be fair, when I was an apprentice and I was working out on site, the site manager actually got me my own toilet. So shout out to him for that, because again, not many companies would do that. I think he was, again, his son, he was the managing director of the company, and his son was the site manager. And then it was his son that would bring me in. I used to travel up to Runcorn on the train with my little tool bag. He used to pick me up, and then we used to drive me to the site. And
this is what kids don't see today, you see.
I would and then again, I would come home, I'd get back off at the train station.
Off. It was,
and then I'd go to McDonald's and work of an evening. So from like 16, 17, I was always working 2 jobs. Because I needed to... My Mackie's money supported me paying for my driving lessons, so that then I could drive to Runcorn eventually, because I was carrying tools on a train. And then I used to fall asleep on the train because I was tired and end up in Liverpool. But again, I had to do it, and it got me where I had to today. So anything now, we're very grateful.
Massive credit to that site manager though, because that's
100%.
But again, he's treating somebody how he would like to be treated.
What seems like a little thing as well though could actually
massive.
be huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's just that human, like, be fucking human.
We've got we follow. We don't on our business page on Facebook. We're in some of the local community groups and stuff. And there's a young boy at the minute, isn't there? That he's been building little things. It's a bit off the subject. Little bench boxes, little hedgehog boxes, and it's little things like he said. His son's being bullied online because he's.
Men going,
the work's
crap,
not great.
That's awful.
We all know that, looking at it. Okay, he's a little boy. He's 10 years old, and this is the problem with... I don't think it's social media. I think it's the people that are on it.
People behind
they're commenting on his post saying, what the fucking hell's that shit? And he's put a post up, his dad, saying, look, you're not just 30-year-old, 20-year-old blokes or 18-year-olds. You are 56-year-old, fully grown, experienced adults that look like respectable people that live normal lives, and you are criticising a young boy that's trying to do something for himself. And we were like, I'm going to support him as much as I can. If he wants any tools,
Said we were going to get him like some bits of felt.
Comes
and
to us.
stuff,
I was like, I will happily drop it. We've always got old hand tools knocking about. I'm like, I will drop him off some hand tools. We don't want any credit, any recognition.
No.
We can help him. And
again,
his
put that fire in his belly.
and his mental health, because he said he's been knocked that many times. Dad, I don't want to do it. He's 10 years old, for fuck's sake. Let the little boy do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's being a kid and trial and error again. And we said, look, if he wants to come, not that he'd be allowed yet, but when he's ready, when he wants to come to work with us for a day, he can come and do a little Saturday. And I said, we'll pay him, you know, so he can experience working with us and know that not all of these people out there are bad. And we've said, haven't we, we'll give him some felt, we'll give him some screws, some nails, you know.
Good
so
people, I like you too.
absolutely, we're not bad people, you know.
people,
There's
man.
enough bad in the world.
Yeah.
So if we can put a little bit of good back in, then
and again, we're
done a bit.
all one for helping people. You know, again, even if we've done things that cost us money. We do a lot of giveaways on our page for like the local communities to get involved in. We've had some that have cost us thousands, and again, it's not about the money. It's more so that people can
we can give back.
We can give back to someone that's helped us possibly throughout the years that appreciate it. You know, yeah, absolutely. But I think like the mental health side, you know, that there's too many people out there that suffer in silence, and they do need to talk about it. Yeah. We've been them people, haven't we? You know, we've sat at home after work and been like, why am I doing this? You know, I'm being treated like this by a customer, or, you know, we've gone out and about and things have gone wrong and not the way we wanted them to go, and we blame ourselves, don't we? And it's not always us, you know, but we are real people. We do, you know, have a sort of conscience. We do have a personality, you know. We have
definitely got a conscience.
Yeah, we've definitely got feelings, you know, and we're not just a burly builder, should I say, that's going to turn up with fag in the mouth, you know. Not anything wrong with that. Be smoking in your garden, flicking fags everywhere, pissing down the side of your house. We treat people how we want to be treated, and again, it's not a lot to ask, is it, Luce? You know,
no.
And I feel like this is why we're always busy. We're always doing something, whether it's knocking up plant pots of a weekend, which you do for the little old Ethels in the village, and little old deers.
Like, honestly, I can't sing your praises high enough. I think you're great advocates for the trade. Yeah, both of you. I'd like to see you getting the recognition for it, because I think you could do some real good for the new generations coming in. Yeah, the view of the industry. It's people that like you with that passion, pride, and your ethics that people need to hear from. And realise that actually, this
and
this
it's
is
not
the way
even
to
for
be.
children either, or kids that are leaving school. We've spoken to adults that are like, "Oh, I'm stuck in a job,
mate.
and
listen,
I fucking hate it." And I'm like, "Mate, like my stepdad. Sorry, Nick. He's one of them. He
doesn't hate what
he
he
loves
does,
what he does, but he said
he's
the
like,
problem, he sells cars for a living, and you know, he's very, very good at what he does. He's very been there a long time. He's very similar.
He's very valued.
He's very valued. He's very similar to us as a person. He has values. He has morals. You know, he cares about his customers, and he said he really finds it hard to switch off, like the way his company run and the way they expect him to treat people. You know, you've only got an hour with that customer. And he's like, I can't do it. And I'm like, change job. I know, but mate, it's not that easy. And I'm like, it really is.
Do you know what?
It really is that easy.
To be honest with you, Jack, I think in the years to come, and I won't go down the whole rabbit hole, but to go back to it, the rise of AI and autonomous systems. There's going to be a lot of people needing to retrain. You know, I mean, you look at the transport industry, for example. I think it employs something like 8 million people. Like that, realistically, in 20 to 30 years, is probably going to go.
And it's going to,
Well, there's so many places, mate,
Teslas
that
are all self-driving, and that now, aren't they?
And there's certain states in America where you can. There's I can't remember the name of the company, but there is a company now creating driverless vehicles. Wow. So there's no steering wheel, nothing. You just get in it. I was listening to a podcast, funnily enough, and it was like basically what to get into with the rise of AI, and one of the ideas was buy a fleet of these things, because essentially, like, you could finance 10 of them. That's driverless, that's self-drive. Bang them on Uber. They're going to work 24/7.
There's no one outlay of wages.
There's no holiday. No getting tired.
Crazy.
No nothing. But realistically, it's where the country's going.
Of course.
And if I was in some of these positions, some of the academic jobs, solicitor, you can go on ChatGPT and get it to do like a case study instantly. I think they've said ChatGPT's IQ level is about 1,300.
Wow.
and
Wow.
like 100 is average.
Average, yeah.
So like the brain power
Crazy,
of,
isn't it?
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's an automatic
10 times
professional.
over, isn't it? You know what I mean?
It's an
Quick
automatic
maths.
professional
Is it
in
10
everything.
times? Yeah, but again, there's people out there that whether they're male, female, it doesn't matter. We speak to people daily, don't we? That we work for and friends, and they go, "Fucking hate." We go, "How's work?" "I fucking hate it," and I'm like, "Change it up. Change."
Horrible life, man.
Change is good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and they go, we
Yeah.
see you going to work and you're always on your thing. And I'm like, because I enjoy what I do. And I feel like that really does help. And we've said if we can help push people into going and doing something a little bit different and out the box, go and do it, whether it is a trade or we love animals, you know, and we've always said if we didn't do what we did now, we would do something with animals. And maybe that is something in the, you know, in the future that we're possibly going to extort. Possibly we are going to do that, as well as obviously doing what we do now. We would love to work with animals, wouldn't we? But we always say, like I said about my stepdad, he is great with people. He loves his job. It's just how it's run. He says, "Oh, I go to work and I don't enjoy it." And I'm like, go and retrain. He likes decorating, doesn't he?
What it
Funny
is, yeah,
enough.
he said
And I've
he
said,
wants to do,
go to. I said, there's plenty of people that I have around me that will take the time out to speak to you, give you a little bit of advice. And I feel like he's one of those that are in that circle that are too scared to. Yeah, he's stuck and he's too
It's a
scared.
good move. It's a scary move.
It is. Yeah, it is. But I'd like
It's
to
the unknown.
Yeah.
And I think you can only
go off your
view
own
it,
experience
you can only
and
look at it once you've
Yeah.
made that jump, haven't
Yeah.
you, and go, gosh, it was the best thing that I ever did.
Yeah.
And we're very fortunate
Yeah.
that it's turned out the way
he
that it
works
has
long
for
hours,
us.
doesn't he? Again, like we do work long hours, but that's out of choice.
That's no
He's-
one's telling us.
He's 9 a.m.
stay
till
here,
6
so-
p.m.
But it feels different.
Of
Yeah,
course,
your
it does.
choice, it
Yeah,
feels
it
different.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's 9 till 6, isn't he? Most
Yeah.
days, you know, he goes in every Saturday, every other Saturday, and he's like, my mum works from home. She's a dentist, you know, and she's spending a lot of time on her own. And she's like, Nick, if you're not happy, just go and you know, like financially, that you know, I'm not rich, but they will survive just off one wage.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's old school in the sense of he won't expect my mum to pay for anything, you know. And I'm like, just go and give it a chance, you know.
It's that fear,
Never
mate,
know.
isn't it? The guaranteed wage fear bubble.
Of course.
I've always been I took over my business at 17.
Yeah.
So, like,
Very young
I don't
and-
understand any of that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Because to
'Cause
me,
it's
I look at it
natural,
and I go,
yeah.
job security, well, I might have 50 clients in a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if I lose my job once,
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
still got my job 49
49
times.
times.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Which
I've
is the way
said,
I see it.
and we've said this, I said, look, not that I'd like to think it'd never happen. If anyone, you know, it was thinking of going self-employed and they had a shortage of work, you go and work for an agency for a week in a factory.
Yeah.
I have that mindset. I've said to Lucy, this is what you were worried about, weren't you?
There's
Said,
always something.
There's always something.
If I was
yeah,
skint,
if we
mate,
had
and
to
I really
make the difference
struggled.
between paying the mortgage.
Yeah, absolutely.
then-
If
I've
it
always
meant-
said the same.
Yeah.
I'd be an Amazon driver.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And this is the mindset that people don't have, though, and I feel like they need to think outside the
always
box. There's
something.
always something
Yeah,
that
of
someone's
course.
always. I'll give you a job for a week. I've said I will help people if they're stuck and you know they need a bit of money. If they can help us out and come and you know dig some holes for a week for some fencing, great. I will help you out if I can. You know that I feel like people need to just put themselves out there and reach out to people and ask for advice.
It's conditioning, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
The programming
Yes.
and conditioning from a young age is that is scary.
Yeah.
That's unsafe.
Yeah. But again, as an adult, it can be, can't it? You know, like I said,
think
we know.
society's changed
Yeah,
since
so
that, though,
much,
hasn't
yeah.
it? I feel like.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
I think it's. I mean, it's a scary place now.
Yeah,
to be honest, Lucy.
it's definitely a scary
Especially for
place.
kids growing up.
Absolutely, yeah.
The way it's changing so fast
Yes,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, another good point, if you do learn a trade, it's a transferable skill. Of
course it
You
is.
can take that, you can go and live anywhere in
Yeah,
the
of
UK,
course.
but you can also fuck off out of it.
Yeah.
Go
We
and
get asked
live
all the
anywhere in
time.
the
We've
world.
got clients that have property abroad, you know, and they're like, "Come and work in France, come and work in Portugal." And I'm like, it's something that possibly we may do in the future, but at the minute we're concentrating on building us, not. Do you know what I mean? We
Yeah,
want to
it's
build.
not an avenue we can
extort right now. No,
we
we're
wouldn't have
no, we
capacity,
haven't
would
got
we?
the
But-
staff, the time. But
Do you know what, mate? So depends on the setup. I've had those offers.
Yeah.
And I've turned them down. Like, I got offered about 2-3 years ago, got offered to go and work in Barbados.
Oh, wow.
See, exactly
White
that.
sands
Yeah,
and-
exactly
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh, wow. And that
Yeah.
was what I did. I went, what? Really?
Yeah.
For a designer.
Yeah.
And they'd got 3 villas they wanted painted.
Yeah.
Is it still going now? Can I-
Well, no, I said
It's
no.
out there, though,
I said
isn't
no
it?
to it anyway.
Yeah, it's out
The
there.
But the reason I said no to it was because Barbados sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But one, it's hot.
Yeah.
Like two, and I was like, okay, give me the details. And they wanted to like fly me out for 3 weeks, and I think I was going to have like a day on either end. I was going to be working through the rest of it. The hotel they were going to put me in, I sound like a snob here, but weren't amazing. You know what I mean? You know, I was getting flown out economy, and I was like,
Nah.
What for?
do I really
Am I
want
going to be happy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're paying no more than what I was earning here. And that was my point. I said,
And you thought,
to work away like that,
You're
not even a holiday.
it's got to be profitable.
It's not even a holiday.
Exactly. And they were like, yeah, but you'll be in Barbados. I was like, yeah, but I'll be working in Barbados.
It's not.
They're like, yeah, but you know, you'll finish at like 5. You've got the rest of the evening.
Yeah, but
like,
what, on my own?
No.
Yeah, on my own.
Yeah. So, and the person who gave me the opportunity, when I said no, they were like, can't actually believe you've turned that down.
Yeah, because so many people.
But I can't see the plus side on it.
But that shows you as a person, Russ, doesn't it?
Looking at it objectively.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
It don't really appeal. Look, you want to give me a holiday in Barbados? I am there. But you want me to go work there?
Yeah.
Nah, you're right.
Two very different things.
No, absolutely. But I feel like the opportunities are out there if someone's hungry enough for it, no matter what it is. You know,
there's loads.
Yeah,
there's loads on the board.
Yeah.
You like you just said though, you got to be hungry for it. You got to hunt it. You got to want it. You got to go get it.
It's not just going to come to you.
So,
sat on your ass. You know, respectfully, it won't. You know, and if it does, you're very lucky. You know, because for us, we've learned firsthand. And if you're lazy, I can tell you now from our experience, it just won't work. You have to get up and go. We've had weeks when we first started, we had no work at all, and I was like, shit, what we're gonna do? I went out, I spent like the last £50 I had in my bank buying leaflets, posting leaflets, and spent days and I got work. And some will say, oh, you know, that's gone. I don't believe it has. I even did a bit of door knocking and it's like, I've had a few shut on me. I've had a few that have stopped and had that time. We've both done it, haven't we? And Lucy's like, I can't believe we're doing this. But again, you know, if you're... there's a difference, isn't there? You know, and this is where we've come from...
But there's all sorts of tricks. When I first set up business, I took over my business, I remember the same, like if I didn't have loads of work on, I used to have either cards or leaflets printed. Wherever I was working, I'd post them like 10 down, 10 up. And I'd have a little thing on saying currently working at, because then they know that you're safe. And it would always bring in work. It's just little tricks like that.
Of course it is. And we all...
That's not nothing that is taught. You only pick that up from experience and going, that didn't work, but this actually did. And then again, trial and error.
You've got to have that mindset to do that though, rather than you can either do that. You can go and post the leaflets, you can go and make the calls, or you can sit at home and you can go, oh, I've got no work.
Whilst with your feet up on Netflix.
What's going wrong?
No
good. Failing?
Exactly.
There's no good wallowing on what if. And that's a saying that both our parents have always said, haven't they? You know,
you've got to go out. Anything good in life isn't going to just come to you, is it?
I feel like we have been lucky with our mums especially, that they're our biggest fans, you know what I mean? Like, so we appreciate everything they've ever done in between. When all the packed lunches, when we lived at Lucy's mum's, didn't we? We lived with your mum for
never so good.
over 12 months, you know, and even now she's like, if you ever need to come back, you know, let me cook you dinner for a week, and you know, because she knows that
late week work, I'll plate you.
I'll do you some meal preps, do you know what I mean? And we're very fortunate in that aspect. They are very good to us, aren't they? And again, you know, we appreciate everyone that supports us, follows us. It, you know, it doesn't go unnoticed, does it? We see literally every single person, every person that follows, like, shares
customers
and stuff.
That we've been
I think you two. I think you go in places if you want to lean into the social side, and respect if you don't. But if you want to lean into it, I
don't think it's
really
ever an option we wanted to sort of do, is it? Like, we didn't want to...
We've had this conversation.
If you want to be Team Makita, mate, you're going to have to.
You might have to, like, but...
I know, we have said that.
Yeah.
It's funny because we both said if we probably did this like 20, 30 years ago...
Yeah, we'd never have.
You didn't need social media to boost your platform as much as you do now, whereas almost to have a successful business, you have to have it hand in hand.
Yeah.
It is marketing.
It is.
That's all it is.
And it's difficult, mate. You'll know yourself again. You know, we get home and we're like, I really just want to eat my tea. I do. I've sat
doing content on the Osmo.
The GoPro,
getting it all out, and he sat there for hours.
I've edited videos and been like, I can't upload that shit, and then I've uploaded it and it's gone viral, and I'm like, well, it's a good job I did. You know,
always those ones.
Of course it is.
It's always the ones where you put together.
Lucy's like, I look horrible in that, and I'm like, you don't. You look really good. She was like, I was having a bad hair day. And they're normally, like you said, the best ones, you know, and
100%.
we want to show people the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
You know, we're not...
We've always said
Keep
that we
doing
want to
exactly
keep
that.
it real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your biggest selling point is you.
Yeah.
So, and you've got something unique. You've got a passion
Yeah.
that is contagious.
Like I said, it's not always the work. Like, our workmanship is fantastic, and again, we're not just saying that. You know, what we do, we enjoy it, and I think that really
take a
helps.
lot of pride
Take a
in
lot
what
of pride
we
in
do.
what we do.
Yeah.
We've done jobs, mate, and we've been like, not happy with that. I'm redoing it. Customers have gone, why? It looks brilliant, and we're like,
No.
it's not. It's not acceptable to us. Well, if you're wanting to redo it, that's fine. But
you combine that work ethic though with the uniqueness of your situation, working together as a couple, and all the rest of it. You've got just something different.
yeah, and this
So
is it.
you know,
we
you'll
are
be
different.
That couple
Yeah.
that people will get
Yeah.
to recognise.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll look forward in watching your sort of progression in that side of
Yeah, I
things.
appreciate
Yeah.
that.
I think wrapping it up, what I'd like from both of you is if you were to speak to a young person, male, female, whatever, coming into the trade and give them one bit of advice from each of you. Don't know who wants to go first, but what would you say to a young person coming into the trade, as in a bit of advice for being successful in the industry? Jack, I'm going to go to you.
Now you are asking me. You put me on the spot. Never put yourself down. Never tell yourself you can't do something, because if you do want it that bad, or you are set on doing something, you can do it. Yes, it may take time. It may take a bit of experience, but there's always people out there like ourselves that are willing to give advice. We don't claim to be... We're good at what we do. We're very, very good. But there is people out there that are social media famous, and, you know, they've got massive followings, and,
Simon
you know,
Bowler.
Simon Bowler, big up Simon. Yeah. But no, there's people out there, you know, that we haven't, like I said, I've got a big following, but we will take that time out to go through what we do, how we go about things, you know, how we got into what we do. So all I would say is, if you're thinking about doing something, never let anyone put you down, and just have a go, literally, you know.
Love it.
I feel like life's too short. We're only here once. I always say I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I live by that motto, you know. So for me, I'd just say, just go for it. You know, if you're ever unsure, just do it.
Like that. Lucy,
but yeah.
yourself?
I think I would say that you, especially to a female, that you probably need to have a bit of a stiff upper lip,
Yeah.
a good backbone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't take no BS, and again, learn your craft, master your craft, and then anybody can come to you and criticise, but when you know that you're in that position and you've got that, and you've mastered that, and you've done that to the best of your ability, you're untouchable.
Yeah.
Let the work speak for itself.
You've got the, it
Hence.
showcases you.
Lucy's very good at what she does, and if
Not
she
that good.
and she knows she's right, mate, she ain't backing down. So, you know,
No, I
and
think,
it's
you know, there's a time and a
Yeah,
place
of
for that,
course.
obviously.
Yeah.
But I think when you've dedicated so much time
Of
to
your
learning
life, yeah.
something, you can speak so strongly about it and so passionately. That's only because of how dedicated you've become to wanting to master that craft. And for me, that's what even now we're still on a journey.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to achieve. I
Yeah.
want to be the best
Yeah.
version of myself that I can be, for not even for anybody else, for me, just
Yeah.
so that I know that that's.
But
for
sometimes you
me,
have to
that's
also be a
enough.
bit selfish, you know, and put yourself first. And I mean that with respect, not me overly. Do you know what I mean? We're a partnership. We're together,
Yeah.
you know. And I always say to Lucy, if you feel something isn't right, tell me. Vice versa. But people need to be a bit selfish and not worry about what other people think as well, because we are bad. We used to be bad for that. Oh, what if I
Constant.
upload that and
Yeah.
and Lucy is now. What if we upload that and someone picks and I'm like, regardless of how good you are, people will criticise.
But social media is a whole new level of just developing a new
Yeah.
skin and new
Yeah.
resilience.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to, but
I think for
unfortunately,
me that's
it's the
something
truth
that
of
will
it.
come with
Time, of course.
And
yeah.
I think that we're
very new to.
Yeah.
We've been on
it's
socials
very
for.
slow, isn't
yeah,
it, for me?
yeah.
And I'm happy to do. I don't rush into anything. I would rather go the long way round
Yeah.
and round the houses 10 times before committing.
Lucy's going in the
whereas-
Mini and I'm in the Ferrari.
Yeah.
Speed that
Yeah.
thing up, boy. yeah.
Yeah.
Lean
But
into it,
as long
mate.
as
Lean
we
into
get
it. I think
there.
we'll smash it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I mean, you shouldn't have to. It's a shame that you're saying all the stuff that you're having to say in terms of, like, you know, proving yourself. You shouldn't
Yeah.
have to prove yourself more than
Yeah.
anyone else. But at the same time, I think in the industry, like, the women in the industry now are kind of like the trailblazers, because it has been male dominated for such a long time. I don't think it will stay that way.
No.
But you guys are like the trailblazers. You're setting the path, and that's why you're so important.
Yeah.
Because, you know, for you guys to put yourself out there the way that you do and show what can be done, and
we can do it just as good as anybody else.
Exactly
And
that.
that's why,
That's what,
and that's why it's so. That's why I
yeah.
would be keen to see you on there and more of you like on socials, because it's so important for everyone to see.
Yeah.
You know, for
Absolutely.
established people to see, but also the youth coming through, because without them there will be no industry.
No, 100%.
And I feel like a lot of
100%.
the kids sort of going to college, or they're going to uni, they like you said originally, they feel like they're pushed into doing something that they may not know what they want to do, or and they need to sort of sit down and have a little think. But if they're unsure, just ask questions, you know. I feel like a lot don't, do they, you know? And we've said, whether you're male, female, whatever, you know, just send us a message. If we can give any life experience,
You said it earlier though, Jack, give it a try.
Yeah.
That's it. You haven't got to commit to being a joiner for life.
No.
You can just give it a couple of weeks, couple of months, couple of whatever.
But you never know, they might really enjoy it. And that's the way you've got to, you know.
We had a customer of ours that went and enrolled at Rees Heath at my old college. He went and just did a nighttime bricklaying course,
and he
because
loved
he fancied it. And he loved it. And I just said, look, I said, it puts that fire in your belly. And he'd been in, I think he'd been in a catering career his whole life. And he was like, I wonder where my life could have taken me if I'd have done this back then. But again, it's about having them conversations and opening them doors for people that they've either shelved in the back of their head somewhere and never really thought about, or again, getting that fire in the belly from a young age, which for me, I think is key. We want young, fit, healthy people coming through that have got that grind and that grit to break down.
And they are
them
out
barriers.
there. Some of them are out there. They are, but it's you know,
They need to be hungry. They need to understand it's a graft.
And
It's work.
I think a lot of
sitting.
this is why they don't choose a trade, though, mate, because they think that, oh, I can, you know, go into social media, which is fine, and I can earn good money. Yes, you probably will.
Not many can though, mate. This is the
that's
thing.
the thing.
It's such a swamped
Yeah.
area now. And again, the rise of AI. It's what I mean. It's not far off creating videos that you can't tell are real or different or whatever.
And this is why there's a shortage of apprentices and stuff, because they don't want to.
down to government funding.
It's
as well,
funding,
isn't it?
and obviously the wages. We've always said, like, we did have an apprentice, didn't we? And again, he's a fantastic lad, great attitude to work, turned up on time every day. We worked for his mum and dad off and on for a while. They asked us to give him an opportunity. He worked 2 jobs, so he worked with us a couple of days a week. He worked at Morrison's, sort of stacking shelves and doing some warehouse work. Really good lad, you know, a pleasure to be around, you know. And he come out of shell an awful lot, and I feel like he was like a sponge and absorbed everything. But even though we don't have him anymore, he left us about 4 weeks ago to take a full-time job. But we're not bitter. We're happy for him, and we've said at the minute we cannot offer that because of obviously how busy we are doing what we're doing. We were taking time out to.
But you've potentially planted a seed.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
that's all you can do.
But again, I'd like to think that from working with us, he's taken that. Not even
just learned some life skills.
Yeah, not even the experience.
Skills with customers, and again, that's something that he wasn't really exposed to previous. So even just to give him that for us, we've sent him on his way with something that he didn't have when he first arrived.
And we're proud to say we've been able to offer that as well, because again, it's something we were like, oh, would we do it again? And I'm like, probably mad saying it. Yeah, I would. I would give someone an opportunity.
It's also it's another skill for you guys.
Yeah,
because having people work for you is
he was
like
our work son, honestly, wasn't he? When we didn't have him and he went away with his friend and stuff on holiday, and we were like, it's weird not having him here. Do you know what I mean? Like, I miss picking on him. And so, but I say that, I mean, respectfully, obviously, there's time and a place, but he'd give it me back as much as I give it him. Wouldn't he?
He was a good lad.
He was a good lad, and again, you know, there is people like him out there that do want to learn and do want life experiences. So
just finding them and filtering them out, isn't it? For the ones that just want to come for the ride.
And we said to him, we obviously money wise, I think a lot put off going into a trade because they know for the first couple of years that they're never going to earn really good money, and even
but they could be at college earning nothing.
Exactly.
So to me, it's the apprentice thing is like, but you get paid something.
It's an opportunity.
Go down another route, get paid nothing.
Yeah. And again, it's an option, isn't it? They can try it if they don't like it.
Well, guys, you've great points.
Yeah.
Great points between the two of you. Honestly, I think you're really great advocates for the trade.
Thank you. We appreciate you having us today.
It's been really nice. You've almost injected enthusiasm back into me for the industry. So
Job
no,
done.
it's
Going
been
to come
really
and train
good,
and be
man.
a joiner.
You never know.
Yeah, you
Listen,
never
never say
know. Well,
never.
this is what-
Never say
yeah,
never.
you never know.
The other trades do interest me, to be fair, but
Yeah.
it's I'd love to check in with you guys again down
Please
the
do.
line.
Yeah.
Because I can see big things for you if you want it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got to lean into.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll check in a couple of years and see where
Absolutely.
you guys are at.
Yeah.
Before we do finish, I'll just remind everyone again what your socials are.
Go on, Luce. I'll let you go.
Go on.
No, go on.
I can't remember.
Yeah, you can.
Go on.
So on Facebook, it's Thomas & Co. And then on Instagram, it's Thomas & Co. Joinery.
I
And
don't
then,
manage the socials.
yeah, and then it's the same on TikTok. But we're not doing as much on TikTok, but we are trying. We've got a lot of content lined up, obviously, to go on. It's just taking that time out of work to do
Perfect
that.
time for people to go and give
Yeah.
you a follow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so please do.
Wherever you're listening or watching this, if you scroll down below in the episode description, there'll be a link to at least one of these guys' socials. Please do go and give them a follow. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Catch you soon on the next one.
Thank you.